All right, y'all ready to go? Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have the prayer and the pledge by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed.
We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Present.
Councilmember Brooke Marcotte. Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember David Broussard.
Here.
Councilmember Deidre Ledbetter.
Here.
Councilmember DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Here. Councilmember Dustin Swear.
Here.
Thank you. Item 1, public comment.
Benjamin Myers to discuss agenda item number 5A.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Sure, we ready this time. Listen, I want to address this, the annexation process, all right? I personally think that we don't have enough homework done for us to do this project. Freddie, I know this is something that you're yourself trying to get across Highway 90. We don't have what the cost would be, the engineering cost to bore under the highway. I don't even know if we have permission to bore under 90 to cross in that area. Another thing that's to our detriment, everything south of 90, as far as I know, has been classified as flood zone. All right, so we wouldn't want to be extending ourselves into this flood zone where it might hinder the cost of insurance in the future for areas of the city of New Iberia that being classified as partially in the flood zone. But the other thing, the TIF money that you intend to use, this $500,000 that you said. All right, this money is designed just to be used in an area that you have TIF'd already. You cannot spend that TIF money outside of those boundaries inside of the TIF area already, all right? Now that's one thing. Another thing, this person that's putting the truck stop there, again, we're understanding that it's supposed to be a truck stop or a convenience store, or maybe a combination of both. Now, we're understanding that we can't TIF this area because the parish already has TIF in that area, right? And I don't think that they allow for lacking of TIFs. But we understand that the parish is not willing to get up not even a half a cent of that 1 cent that they have, you know, to help pay for this. How are we going to recoup this cost, you understand, if we don't have access to that, you know, to pay for and put back into this area that we would like to have TIF for ourselves, all right, in order to support this. Now, this company, Love, this company is buying from Center Street all the way to Hopkins Street. One of my friends, Mr. Toriak, and their family, been approached about selling that property. So what I see and anticipate in the future is they get us to cross under 90, all right? Then you're going to extend it down to where the parish has TIF on that area, but we'll be the ones who are having to provide the sewer services as part of their infrastructure, all right? And that will be outside of the bounds and the confines of that 11 acres that we just proposing right now. All right, so that's more than 11 acres we're talking about if we're talking about from Center Street all the way to Hopkins Street, all right? So again, and we would be the ones, I'm sure, to provide the services when it comes down to sewage. Apparently, the parish didn't do it. The parish had services they could have provided. The parish could have taken the project themselves, all right? So they say it's a win-win. It's not a win-win for the city. It's a win-win for the parish, all right? And again, this money that's in the TIF district already. Now, this money that's in the TIF district that is designated to be used in, when you reach out of those boundaries, that's illegal. All right? Yes, it is, Freddie. You can shake your head sideways all you want. That's illegal. All right?
Oh, I'll talk later.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll conversate on that if we need to. But the point I'm making is, but when we get in this flood zone, let's say, for example, it floods in that area, all right? What type of impact that it's going to have on our sewage plant that we're already talking about is deteriorating at an alarming rate already? What do we do when it floods over there and we got the pushback, you know, from flooding that hinders, you know, sewage in that area coming back? What, it's going to back the system up all the way throughout New Iberia, all right? You got to take those things into consideration. Now, and the numbers of what this project is going to cost. $500,000 or a half a million dollars match would be $1 million that you, the city, would put into this project, as well as love, all right?
Sorry.
No project of that nature gonna come in at $1 million and be complete. No. We need to have numbers to see what it's gonna cost going in before we stick ourselves in this situation. Now we find out it's gonna cost this, we're gonna have to extend that, and we all have specifications in writing of if we extend this sewage to these other adjacent properties that Love is acquiring right now. You understand? What's our benefit there? All right? These are a lot of things that I think we should pay attention to. Personally, I think that we should table this, research this, get the numbers, what it's actually going to cost us. You can't tell me a project to go forward on the Highway 9 is not upwards of a couple of $1 million, all right? Who's going to be responsible for that cost from that point on? And if, in fact, we just specifically designated a spot that Love is asking us, you know, what about when we extend that services to these other places that's tipped all the way along Highway 9? And with the parish saying, no, we're not going to get part of the TIF money if we do that. Well, Jesus, it's kind of like being, you ought to play cards, it's kind of like being a house man, but I don't get no cut. You know? All right? That's just what the parish is doing. All right? Let's just call it like it is. All right? So, again, we need to address this, and we need to address it by putting a halt to this annexation, get the numbers in, see what the actual cost is going to be, and, of course, the deal breaker, if the parish is not willing to give us a percentage, at least that half a cent that we get in our TIF district to help recoup that money that we're going to be investing, then that's a deal breaker. That's it. Plain and simple. And if it was so good, excuse me, I'm getting ready to say something. If it was so good, you know, if thing was so good, why didn't the parish take on that project themselves? Why didn't they do it to their benefit if it's so good? All right? But they're doing it at the expense of the city. All right? And another thing, you know, I see our sewage man, Mr. Vince, his name is, he's getting ready to exit in 18 months. Well, if I saw something like that coming across the road, you know, I think I would leave out there before the crap hit the fan too. Because I can't see it, you know, I can't see it working out like that. I just don't see it happening, and I don't see the recoup the investment that the city would have, and it's at a cost. Now, I'll go on to say I think that some of that money would be better used to direct toward the restoration or repairs that we need at the sewage plant. You understand? And maybe we can, with some of that CARE money, can grant some of our citizens relief by freezing that sewage user fee that we have that's going up 2% every year. All right? Let the citizens benefit from some of this somewhere. All right? So, again, that's my opinion, and I don't know if you're having a public hearing on this. If I sit down and think of something I might have left out, I will speak again then. Thank you all for the time, and thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Item 2.
Acceptance of the minutes of April 5th, 2022, which will publish on April 20th, 2022.
Do you have a motion? So moved. Whoa. Motion by Councilman Dustin Swear and a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion on our minutes of April 20th? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Item 3A.
Ms. Cataline Terrio, Victims Coordinator for the 16th Judicial District Attorney's Office, to address the council in recognition of National Crime Victims' Rights Week and to discuss Voice for Victims Rally on April 26, 2022.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to come tonight. I would like to extend another invitation to each of you to come out that night. Even if you've been fortunate enough not to be touched by crime, please come out and support those that have been touched by crime, because I'm sure everyone's reading the news about how crime is just scattered all over the United States. So I'm just asking y'all to please come out, and thank y'all for letting me come tonight. I will be very grateful if y'all come. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do. Madam Clerk, 4A.
Public hearing on ordinance number 2022-06, levying millages on the 2022 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by the city of New Iberia.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed, and second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Is there anybody to comment on this item? Seeing,
Can we just make sure the public knows there's no change?
yes, ma'am, we are leaving our millages right where they are.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's a good point. No public comment? Then I need a motion to close our public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Dustin Swear. Thank y'all. 4B.
Public hearing on ordinance number 2022-07, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with ClearGov for budgeting software on behalf of the city of New Iberia.
I need a motion to open our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman David Broussard and a second by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Is there any public comment on this item? No taker? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to close our public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilman David Broussard. Thank you. Madam Clerk, 4C. No problem. We're on that.
Frozen. Public hearing on ordinance number 2022-08, amending approved budget allocations for American Rescue Plan Act funds received by the city of New Iberia, amendment number 2.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to close our public hearing.
Motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and I don't know who was the second. I was Councilman Broussard. Quick on the draw tonight. Thank you. 4D.
Public hearing on ordinance number 2022-09, authorizing the mayor to acquire the former Park Elementary School from the Iberia Parish School Board on behalf of the city of New Iberia as part of the American Rescue Plan Act project entitled West End Park Improvements and Expansion.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there anybody here to comment on this public hearing? Seeing none, I need a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Thank you. Let's see, 4E.
Public hearing on special ordinance number 2021-2022-07, amending the budget to allocate funding for professional services and allocate actuator replacement project to ARPA, amendment number 6.
I need a motion to open this public hearing.
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and Councilman Dustin Swear. Thank y'all. 5A.
Ordinance number 2022-04, enlarging the boundaries of the city of New Iberia, Louisiana, and amending the charter of the city of New Iberia.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Dustin Swear and a second by Councilman David Broussard. Is there any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
Mayor, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I know you have a lot to say, but I'm not going to point out the man in the crowd, but
He's my friend. Yeah.
for one, I mean, and I'm going to say this, when we first started when I first started on the council, our vision was to improve and grow the city, and would not better way to do that. So I know you have some thoughts, and I want to hear your words on this, please.
All right, I'll kind of, and look, I have the upper hand that I work here every day. I have a staff, I have people, so I investigate things. So some of what my friend over there said, I don't think is correct, but I'm not picking on him, and we're not debating. It's my time to talk. It's just that I do my research. So I'll start from the beginning. Let's hit the biggest elephant in the room, okay? Yes, Loves is not in the TIF district. And there was a lawsuit. Loves can't be in the TIF district because you can't have overlapping TIF districts, okay? So the parish charges 1%, we would be charging 0.5 cent. I also have some reservation of charging a company or my citizens or people who use that 1.5% more. So it won't be in the TIF district. However, it is correct, we can spend money on it. And I checked with Jason Akers, who set up every TIF district, who's the attorney for everybody who does this, and he put it in writing for me today. Overlapping TIF districts you can't do, but you can use the dollars on infrastructure improvements outside of the TIF district if you expect it to benefit the TIF district in the long run. It seems like this would be the case here. Loves will bring people to the economic development district, to the TIF district. So we can spend that money. We already got a quote, and it is $1 million to bore under the highway. That is not the whole project. That is only to bore under the highway. What we agreed with Love's that we would pay for half of that. So we would pay up to $500,000. We haven't signed that yet. The first thing we do is annex the property. In the agreement, I was born, but it wasn't yesterday, it will say that the max we will contribute is up to $500,000. So they can't come back and say it costs $2 million to do the bore, we want more money. It's not going to happen, okay? Is it true? Well, let's talk about the parish in general. Never forget the cities in the parish. The 170 businesses that have opened in the last 5 years, all of the money we spend on Parks and Rec, all the money we spend around town, it's improving the parish. I know I always do that, the team I wear is the city, and it is. I can't remove myself or the city or any of us from the parish. So anything we do benefits the parish. If we want to look at it and say, well, I don't want to do that because it's helping the parish, well, then we should do nothing. Because the city is the biggest town in the parish. We're the parish seat. All of our citizens are here. We're a compact city, so it used to be, we're right around 30,000, 29 and some change. That's a big chunk of the parish. So everything we do here is part of helping the parish. So, however, we have a built-in calculator, if you will. We got a gas pump. Never forget, we're not just spending $500,000. If the parish adds on to that line, that's a good thing, because you know why? They don't have a plant. We own half the plant on Cotton Street and the whole plant where all this is going. So that meter's running. I want them to tie onto that thing, and I want them to wear themselves out sending us sewer, because we get paid per gallon. We make money off of that. We are increasing our infrastructure and increasing the money that we're getting by increasing our client base. Do I want more businesses to come into the city? Sure I do. Am I hoping that as we do this, we pick up other acreage and more businesses come in? Let's talk about what we get from the businesses. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay? We spend $500,000. If we get sales tax, we get jobs, we get millages, we get an inventory tax, it might take 10 years at $50,000 a year to get our $500,000 back. Love's Truck Stop's not coming for 10 years. It could come up for 30 years. So it's the end game. What does that also develop with other businesses? What does that do for jobs? You want to fix your community, try to find people jobs. That's the real ticket. What we've succeeded with is small businesses. We've succeeded. Go to, where you want to go? Hobby Lobby, Rouse's, Chick-fil-A. It's all New Iberia people working there. Every business, we gave benefits to bring that in. You can't tell me New Iberia people aren't going to work at the Love's Truck Stop. You can't tell me that it's so close to town, they're not going to come get a hamburger. They're not going to come get other things in our community. So it's a benefit. If you total all of that up, our $500,000 investment, yeah, it might take 10 years to pay it off. So what? We got another 20 years. If you think so small-minded that we better not annex, okay, we better not grow, you're right back where we were. It's just like every government, and I'm not going to point fingers, but every government official that says, oh, we broke, we can't do nothing. I got here, we were broke. We hustled. Many of you hustled with me. I mean, I didn't do it in a vacuum. So you can make an excuse, we're broke, we shouldn't spend the money. What the hell are you going to do with it? You tax citizens or you tax businesses to put that money back in the community. We are a service-based business. We are not supposed to be a bank and keep that money. So that TIF district can only be spent in the TIF district or surrounding the TIF district that it affects the TIF district in a positive manner. So my attorney tells me I'm going to listen to Jason Akers. So we're building something for the future. Let me see if I hit all my points. So the sewer we get paid back because we get per gallon. The TIF, we can spend it. We receive sales tax, millage, and sewer per gallon. And every improvement we do benefits the parish and benefits us as well. And I don't want consolidation. I got friends who kind of like to consolidate things. I don't want to consolidate anything. You know, it's hard-pressed to get me to consolidate the dog catcher. I really think that we should be our own government. But at the same time, if you don't partner with the parish and you don't partner with the surrounding communities around you and you don't partner and build that bridge and put that money where you can that it adds to our future, then what are we doing? The only way we're going to grow is to annex. Yes, we have problems all over town. But if you don't bring new money, then we as a council can't fix those problems. The reason we're succeeding is we keep making investments and we're taking the tax dollars because we're not broke. What I think is funny is when people don't want us to do something, they stand up and say you can't afford it, but they don't look at our dollars. When they want us to do something they want, they're like, oh, give us all the money, you're rich. Well, you can't have it both ways. We are financially stable, we are moving in the right direction, but I say we continue to make those investments, continue to grow, and continue to expand. So I'll take any questions. I tried to address, as many of the parish just approved this. And it was a hard sell. I just put the cards on the table. It was a hard sell to the parish because they didn't see the benefit. It's so funny that's thrown in my face that, we're doing everything for the parish. The parish didn't see the benefit, and we had to have meetings to say, what do you mean it's not a benefit? It's good for both of us. Just like on this end, I see no reason why we shouldn't do this because the TIF dollars can only be spent in that immediate area. Okay, this is a good project. What TIF is designed for is to bring infrastructure in to attract businesses. That's its main focus. So I hope that answered some of the questions, but I'll take them. Yes, sir.
Didn't we have to do the same thing for Lowe's and all of that stuff back in the day when that first
Years
came?
ago, I was going to say, he was involved.
I was here,
Yeah, we had to do the same
and it
thing.
might be the same chair that I was sitting in. Yeah, 20 years ago,
That's funny.
we were approached by the developers on both sides of Highway 14, the Lowe's side and the Musson Patu side. And they said, we will build if you take us in.
Right.
So we put in huge infrastructure out there to bring those people in. And I'm talking from, right around the railroad tracks on the right side headed out of town, and on the left side where you start with, Wendy's and all that area. It was Segura property, Auto Mall property, Brown and Brown, I forget what the company name was for the Lowe's property. But all that stuff was a huge addition to the city that produces a lot of taxes. So yeah, we did. We have not been part of any kind of big annexation since then.
Right.
For
No.
various reasons.
You know how many
we have
years ago?
not. And I worked with Mayor Curry's administration to work on some annexation problems, but we were just filling in gaps and taking in small stuff. No, this is the first real annexation in a while. And we did the same thing, I think, when 182 and Darby Lane, about the same time, when that Spanish Lake convenience store and that area came in. So, no, we were planning something there to harvest later. And I'd like to say a couple other things. Mr. Gonsalves is not going to be talking, right?
Right.
So I just want to say that, and it takes 4 votes to pass this thing. So I want you to know that. But I was part of arranging the discussions between the city and the parish. And in that discussion, we had to really push hard to explain that when we benefit, the parish benefits. Because we're in the parish right now. Everything we do in this city that improves our lives improves the parish's lives. And we're working with them closely to try to bring this in, because I think the development is going to benefit both. But we put some time and effort into working this out with all the parties and with the parish to make this a win-win for everybody. That's just my only comment.
Yeah, just,
Still have the floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I like to see growth. And when you look at parish versus city, you go to Lafayette or wherever, and you tell people, they ask where you're from. If you're from Petitons, they don't say you're from Petitons. If you're from Pateauville, they don't say you're from Pateauville. If you're from Morbraham, they might say Morbraham, because Morbraham got a little clout.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're saying you're from New Iberia. People on the outside looking in don't look at, hey man, look how well your parish is doing as opposed to your city. They say, look how well New Iberia is doing. And so I'm all about seeing our community grow. And again, I was able to watch it grow through my grandfather, through my Aunt Peggy. So anything new that come to town that bring more money, I got to kind of support it, because it's a rock's throw away from, from the inner city. So it's hard for me to look at it as a line that we cross and that we shouldn't cross. It looks as a building block that we should build on. And again, we watched Lafayette grow. I'm 51 years old, and I remember when Lafayette didn't have all what it had, and I'm like, wow, now, you know what I'm saying?
Or Youngsville
And so now I want to be a part of New Iberia growing, and people in Broussard, they still say Lafayette. They're in Youngsville, and they still say Lafayette. So it's the same thing here. We just got to do what we got to do to grow our community. We talk about keeping our kids here, having our kids stay home to build a community. These kids want to have somewhere to work, something to, and bright lights are attractive. Coming over that overpass and seeing a new bright
I
light.
didn't even mention that. It finally gives
People
us
don't
a
look at the
presence.
common sense
Well,
stuff
none.
sometimes. I like the common sense stuff that,
So, I do have a question, Freddie, if you're finished, Marlon.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, ma'am.
So, I did have questions, and it wasn't because I don't support it, because I absolutely want the city to grow. I'm all for annexation. I think it is something that we need, because we need to grow the city, and more growth means more revenue, more tax dollars to provide more services. I did have questions, though, about the negotiations with the parish, because it's in their TIF district. Is there any reason why they're not paying for half of the cost of boring under the highway, since, you know, it's not only are they gonna get just the regular tax, but they're gonna get that additional tax? You would think that they would actually help us to pay for some of that.
Well, have a meeting tomorrow. They're gonna help, how can I say, indirectly with that, okay? I don't wanna squeeze all the life out of them, okay? We have an issue with our sewer, okay? The parish brings it, and I've talked about this before, they bring the sewer at too fast of a rate because they have expanded some. So my plant is plenty big, our plant, it's plenty big. It has the capacity for the gallons. What it doesn't have, if you bring it too fast, the plant's not working right. If you bring it too fast, it is a machine, okay? It takes so many hours for all that to settle in those different basins at the headworks. It takes so long for all this to work. So they're pumping it to us faster and faster, all right? And they have big plans, and I hope their plans, you know, develop. The Progress Point, there's supposed to be a giant investment there. It's already kind of spread around that UL is going to do something there. That's going to come to us. Anything on 90 that they tie into that pipe that we don't get to annex and they tie in, it's going to come to us. Well, I raised the red flag about 6-8 months ago that I could see we had an issue. Well, we as a body, me as the guy who signs the paper, is responsible for the limits at the end of the pipe. How good is that water when it comes out, okay? City's responsible for that. So as they bring more, they're going to have to step up. So we actually have a meeting tomorrow where they're going to have to take some of their money, be it their cash, be it their ARPA money, whatever, and make improvements into our system, or we won't be able to take much more. We could take the loves, but we can't take all that stuff coming. So I'm using this as an opportunity to say, we're doing the bore. We will benefit, and I really feel the cost ratio's there, that we will benefit over the long run and spending the $500,000. Their TIF dollars, they say, is all tied up to pay for some existing debt, okay? But they do have ARPA money. So what I'd like them to do, because it's going to be more than that other, and Love's Truck Stop needs to be paying the other half of the bore. So instead of taking the low-hanging fruit of I want a couple $100,000 to split the bore with you, I want them to make big improvements, and our engineers are going to tell us how much at that meeting tomorrow, because we are doing our research. They're going to have to pipe up and spend a bunch of money in our sewer plant, bringing things up to speed to not only handle, it's not really to handle this, it's to handle everything that's coming. So they will be paying, and they will pay into our system, or we're going to have to slow the throttle down. And when you hear of big projects coming, like you know, $50 million, and I was very privileged to go to a meeting, can't give you the details because I saw one of those non-competes, but someone from here who I really have gotten to know and greatly respect, wants to bring a business here, okay? It's something to do in the medical field. It would be jobs. Again, I'm chasing jobs. Well, if that came, it's going to be a lot of sewer. Same thing with that other project. So they're not going to have a choice. I don't mean that in any kind of threatening way. To fix the machine and make it work correctly, they're going to have to contribute because they have long-range plans to contribute more sewer, which we get a price per gallon. So they're going to contribute, but I think that it would be short-sighted to just say, okay, I'm only putting up 250, you put up 250. I think they're going to have to put up a lot more than that, and kind of we're developing the whole system. And I am very interested in, you know, many more gallons to charge that rate, because that's where we're going to get out of the hole. As much as this is now popular and people want to throw something in my bald head when I bring it up, the sewer plant still doesn't make a profit. You can cry about the sewer user fees all you want. What it costs to do, remember every year when the auditor comes, he compares our rates to other communities, and except for Broussard, who's rich, all the other communities are more expensive than us. Broussard, for whatever reason, gives theirs away, but they have a tax base that like no community has. So we're not making this big profit. When people see the bill, I get mad too. You know, I'm constantly looking for the toilet that's running. I'm constantly looking for how can I cut my bill down, but we're not making a profit. What helps us to make a profit is all this new sewer coming. But again, they're going to have to pay.
So, and there's no chance of them not paying. I mean, I'm just trying to look.
If they don't pay, and again, I'm not trying to be the mob boss here, but if they don't pay, there's gonna come a time that I'm gonna say, you can't have any more sewer. Because we're responsible at the end of the pipe. And I will always protect, again, the team I'm on, I will always protect the capacity that we have enough capacity for as we grow. Because it's about us, it's for the city. But there is plenty of capacity. But if they would come and say, we're not paying for anything, we tying on and we sending all this to you, we don't have to take it. There will come a time that I will say, you're not getting any more. And I hate to do that, but I did tell them publicly at a meeting, publicly, my attorney told them, I'm making every effort to say, hold on, we have a solution. You know, I'm not a guy who has a problem for every solution. You can fix anything. So come up with some money, my engineers will come up with a way so that we can fix this. But if they don't, and they would just turn a blind eye and think it's all coming our way, there's gonna be a time that we're gonna run around shutting off valves. I don't mean to be ugly, but I can only do what I can do. It's a machine. It can only run, your car can go as fast as it can go and you'll blow the engine. You know.
And thanks for the clarity on the
Sure.
TIF district, because I was definitely concerned that we were spending money in the TIF district if it wasn't going to be that we're putting loves in our TIF. I didn't know how
I don't
that
want
would
to go to
happen.
jail, okay? I check all of that. I got a sign on the dotted line, and I love my job and I love my town, but I don't get paid enough to go to jail. I mean, I checked that from the beginning. I trust Jason Akers. All he does is TIFs. All he does is bonding. You know, I mean, he knows his game.
Okay. Well, we didn't have clarity, because I had asked that at a couple of meetings before.
Well, there was a time that I thought I could add on to the TIF district. Then he called me and he researched and he says, no, there's a lawsuit that won't let you do it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you're not wrong. I mean, you know, we got to talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut over to Jeff, then I'll come back to you, unless Mr. Broussard didn't speak yet.
Yeah, if y'all don't mind.
No.
Dee Dee, we did talk about those things. And we talked about those in a meeting in Larry's office, and there've been some other discussions. And we talked about the fact that if we put that line in, it opens opportunities for us, because there's other property that's now in the parish that we believe is gonna come into the city, you know, that's gonna be accessed with that. So that's gonna give us some opportunities. The parish also talked about things that they're spending money on for economic development. So, you know, I think we made a real good faith effort to do this. It was a delicate negotiation. We still got some more delicate negotiations, because the city and the parish are connected for better or for worse. We gotta work together.
We do.
Absolutely.
Well, choice.
And we're working pretty
Whether we
hard.
want to or not.
Yeah, and, you know, so we put some effort into this.
And
And
I'm
I-
not
and
saying
I
you
think-
guys didn't.
yeah,
I'm just
no.
trying to get clarity, because, you know, when I vote on something, I want to make sure I understand not only what we're doing today, but long-term, how's this going to affect the citizens of New Iberia? And I want to make sure we're going to be making some money off of this, and that they're not going to suffer because we made a bad decision. So I just need clarity in my brain.
That's fine. Ain't no
I want to
problem.
make sure I understand how this
That's
is
why our
going to work.
meetings, we all talk a lot and we get a lot done. And at the end of the day, we agree way more times than we disagree, because we get it all out in the open. So I'm fine with that.
So that was, I mean, I recognize the fact that you guys talked a lot. I just,
Yeah.
I didn't have all the information.
No, and we looking long-term, because you got to look long-term.
Right.
These are big items, you know? You talk first. So are you done?
I'm
Okay,
done.
Okay, then Mr. Broussard, you have to talk then.
In my district again. It's gonna light up the world, it's gonna light up the world over there on that end. And when people are traveling, they go, wake up. New Iberia's on the scene. What better way to do it? You know, to light it up. And that service road, Mr. Mayor, that's for the state to take care of that service road, right? It can go both ways. When them trucks start hitting that service road, they might take it all the way towards the Jefferson Terrace, Jefferson Island Road, and get on over there. So there's a lot to be said on the traffic, on it's gonna wake up New Iberia. I can tell you, Paul, when they're traveling, old New Iberia's not dying after all. And we can have a lot of people
Well,
come
let's hope we're
work.
not.
But that's gonna wake it up the most, the lights. I thank you, sir, for doing all the homework. And, I hope we save a little tip for what I wanna do another end.
Well, the TIF brings in, the parish's TIF brings in $250,000 a month. We only bring in $25,000 a month, because ours is small. But it continues to bring in $25,000 a month, and we have about 1.5 in it. And like I said, we won't commit to any more than $500,000. And the other $1 million, I'm looking for other opportunities to bring to y'all, that we can make investments to again, grow and better our community. Good. Thank you. Dustin, back to you.
Yeah, you did bring up a good point about the capacity, because the plant was built to expand, for expansion, so we do have the room, but like you said, once the parish starts putting in more
Yeah,
and more.
and the
at a
problem
fast
is the
rate,
flow, is the
I
rate.
get that. Marlo has a good point, look at Lafayette Parish, they're loving the fact that Broussard, Youngville, and Carencro now is doing what they're doing. And we're sitting back over here twiddling our thumbs, and we
Well-
have all the resources.
Trying to twiddle them faster.
Well, no, what I'm getting at is, for a long time, it was simple-minded and what-ifs, and this council's not about that. And we're showing it to the public right now. We're not what-ifers, and we're not simple-minded, and we're growing the community, because we want to be like those other communities
As fast as we can.
as fast as we can, so that's why I'm supporting it 100%. So, thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you. Okay, Ricky, you can talk from now on. And if you don't know, Ricky farmed some of the property, so Ricky could not say anything because he would have a.
Well, I think he could speak but
He
not
could,
vote.
right.
But
And
he's
so he chose
decided,
not to.
hands off.
Well, it's just really unusual. If somebody's watching this for the first time and Ricky's not saying anything, I need to tell them why.
That's right.
All right, 4B.
Ordinance number 2022-06, levying millages on the 2022 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by the city of New Iberia.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any discussion on this item? Please vote your machines. Thank you. 5C.
Ordinance number 2022-07, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with ClearGov for budgeting software on behalf of the city of New Iberia.
Do you have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, a second. Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this? None? Please vote your machines. Thank you. Next item, 5D.
Ordinance number 2022-08, amending approved budget allocations for American Rescue Plan Act funds received by the city of New Iberia, amendment number 2.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by, I believe, Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this item? Please vote your machines. Thank you, and this is one of the last steps so that we can begin to start implementing our plans. We needed to get to this point. We have a lot of homework next week because the portal's open and we have to do this big report. We'll be working on that a whole bunch next week, and Aaron has already spent days on that. That's the next big thing for them to check all of that. Once we do that and make that report and we check all of it, then we can begin to start spending money, which is just exciting because we got a lot of good stuff coming. Next item, 5E.
Ordinance number 2022-09, authorizing the mayor to acquire the former Park Elementary School from the Iberia Parish School Board on behalf of the city of New Iberia as part of the American Rescue Plan Act project entitled West End Park Improvements and Expansion.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Councilwoman, who was it, Deidre Ledbetter? Thank you. Any discussion on this item?
Yeah, Mayor, just a quick update on what our plans were. You
Oh, sure.
mentioned the plans public, and I just want to
I'll be glad to.
because I'm getting a lot of questions about what we
I'm
plan on
excited about
doing with the. I am as well.
Yeah. Park Elementary is first and foremost going to help us add on to West End Park, okay, which is huge because we need to expand in all our communities. The school is laid out in a big H, okay? Center section is the cafetorium, they call it, whatever, cafeteria auditorium, and then it has 4 wings. One wing will remain with the park, and it will be 6 classrooms. I am actually hoping to put a computer lab in one and already kind of looking for grant money to do that. The part of the existing gym, the teen side, that we are now going to have a Boys and Girls Club there. So they're going to take that area and be Boys and Girls Club every day, which is going to be great for the community. They're not closing the other one. We're going to have 2 Boys and Girls Clubs. That's going to greatly help our neighborhood. But it did kind of displace some things. There's a classroom in there, there's a little library in there. So that 6 classroom wing will allow us to keep those functions. All of the ground around it will now be part of the park. Okay, so that expands the park. The next little wing will go to the police department. They will keep 2 of the classrooms with air conditioning, and then part of the rest of the building is going to be storage and some of their training. Right now they're using an empty school that the school board is gonna sell somewhere else. And they go through and they do all the little training. So that gives us a good presence and gives us, you know, a good area for them to train. There's 2 more wings left. The next H of the, you know, arm of the H is gonna go to Parks and Rec. And I hope, because I need it, we keep buying, we just bought more. We keep buying Christmas decorations for Hopkins Street. We have all the Christmas decorations for downtown. All that used to be stored where we're doing the, at the old restroom where we're doing the tourist information center. I gotta put them somewhere. So we will be able to take part of that school and use it for storage, because I don't like bringing everything out to Public Works. One, it's way out there. Number 2, we're running out of room out there. Every project we do, we send something to Public Works. Joe is busting at the seams. So that's gonna give us some area that the parks can have their own storage area. And then in the last wing in the back will actually be for Public Works. There are times that we could have things in town that would be quicker than men driving all the way back out to the barn to get something and do something. So we'll make good use out of the school. It'll be part of the community, part of the park, and then there'll be a good presence of people coming and going and activity. You know, one of the things you want to see in a park is activity. You want to see people coming and going. You want to see people using it. I didn't want that school to just sit there and deteriorate, as unfortunately some other ones have, and then it just becomes a big blight instead of something useful to the community. And any chance I can add on to the park, Marlo and I tried really early on to go the other way and add where the beautiful little cypress trees are, kind of on the other side, you remember? We never made any headway with that.
Right.
But this will give us more ground, more area for fields, for flag football, for, you know, those kind of things. So that's the vision of what we're gonna do with it.
Well, thank you.
So how many, I'm sorry, how many classrooms are in each?
There's 6 per wing, so the 6 that will remain operational will be right there in the front closest to the gym. And
Okay.
then many of them become storage, many of them come, in the back area, become for different police functions. But there's 6 in each wing.
So we might potentially be able to not just have the computer lab, but have place for the STEM.
I was hoping that we could have something for the STEM, because remember,
Yeah.
we're spending some money on STEM through our ARPA money.
Yeah.
I was also hoping to have 1 or 2 rooms, because all we're gonna do, instead of that huge chiller, I know I can't air condition the whole thing. Instead of that huge chiller, we're taking some ARPA money and putting some little small zone line units at each classroom so they
Yeah.
control the classroom, and that way we can economically control it. But I'd like to have 1 or 2 of those, because what West End, they have the one really nice meeting room that with Marlo's help with his $100,000 we just redid. We're in the process of finishing redoing the kitchen and the lobby, and then next year we'll be able to make more improvements after we get the new roof. I don't want to go any further than what we've done, because we need to change the roof. But I'm excited about those extra classrooms, because really that could end up being some little meeting spaces for the community. You know, we could take a couple of those and not really, nobody's gonna own it, okay? I mean, it's just like any other building in a park. You got a schedule to use it and it's available to everybody. But if we had a couple of those small rooms, I get a lot of calls all over town of people that would like a little meeting space, and the West End just doesn't have that except that 1 room. So that would give us another little area that we could monitor and, you know, control, and people could use it for the day or whatever. And I think we get a lot more, you know, community building, community participation by various groups, you know, utilizing it.
Right.
It's all about putting it back into the community. In other words, sitting there, falling apart is not gonna do anybody any good. Anybody else?
It would be nice to name them rooms too, the meeting rooms, name them at the Abraham Roy room, the, you know, Nicodemus Harrison room.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just want to put that on your mind. I know you.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Then please vote your machines. Thank you all very much. Welcome, Brooke. Saw that light up. I was like, oh. That's it. I was busy talking to her.
Mommy duties.
Yep, I hear you. Bye there.
Special ordinance number 2021-2022-07, amending the budget to allocate funding for professional services and to allocate actuator replacement project to ARPA. Amendment number 6.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this? Hearing, seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. This just helped to make our ARPA money go even further. I appreciate it very much. 6A.
Ordinance number 2022-10, amending General Ordinance number 304 of the City of New Iberia relative to rezoning property owned by Vic Segura from R1 to C1 as follows. Parcel number 0504708296A, measuring 50 by 161, 153, being lots 28 and 29, Block C, Richelieu Circle subdivision, and parcel number 0504708296B, measuring 75 by 161, 157, being lots 30, 31, 32. Block C, Richelieu Circle subdivision.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte and a second by Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
So this is basically, being turned into commercial because of the cemetery that he's,
Yeah, what allows him, come on up, Jane, if you want to. I'll let Jane come up.
Yeah, the original 21-acre tract is Zone C1, with the exception of these two lots at Front Richelieu. When the site plan was approved in 2019, the site plan included those two lots. It just didn't include the rezoning of those two lots.
okay, so this basically might be like an entryway or something like that?
I'm sorry?
He's making this like an entryway?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it was laid out in the site plan.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Cool. Any other discussion?
I spoke to the residents and they seem fine with everything going on, so that's good.
No, he spent a lot of money. It's really nice. He's making a lot of improvements. I've been out there.
Quietest neighbor you can have.
He's spent a lot of money, and you're right, he's quiet.
No, I'm saying,
That's funny.
those are the
I know,
quietest
I know.
neighbors you can
That's
have.
funny.
Very true.
True. Anybody else? Then I ask you please vote your machines. Thank you. All right, 6B.
Resolution 22-67, granting final subdivision approval for the re-subdivision of property known as the Bridges LLC, owned by Vic Segura and identified as parcel number 0504708296A, measuring 50 by 161, 153, being lots 28 and 29, Block C, Richelieu Circle, and parcel 0504708296B, measuring 75 by 161, 157, being lots 30, 31, and 32, Block C, Richelieu Circle.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilwoman Brooke Marcotte. Is there any discussion? Please vote your machines. Oh, wait, she's got to clear it up. Yeah, please vote. Thank y'all. You're moving fast.
I know.
7A.
Go check it out.
Resolution 22-68, awarding contract to Southern Constructors for Dale Street Sidewalk Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman David Broussard. Is there any discussion?
When will we get started?
Soon as we can. This is the next step. Then we'll award, and then they told me it wouldn't be long. You know, it normally takes about 30 days. By the time they do their insurance, their bond, initiate the contract, 30 to 45 days. But you know, I want it done just as bad as we all do. So.
And just for the public's knowledge, this is the project where we're going to add sidewalks on Dale Street from Bank Avenue to Jefferson Terrace.
Yes, and three council people put up $50,000, and of course, we had to put up the rest. We thought it would have been another 150, and we got a little bit of a break, so it's more like 125, but anyway, it's well worth it. The city, for some reason, didn't build sidewalks, hasn't built sidewalks in years. I don't understand that. So this was a fun way to kick it off, that we put in sidewalks where people will actually utilize them, and then we're doing a big stretch. So I think this is really good because a long time.
Very busy area.
Long time overdue. You know, when you travel Dale, it's busy. People are walking, people on bikes constantly. It's going to be well utilized, and I'm just glad to see that we're, you know, back in the sidewalk business.
Yes.
I looked at the map. Which side of the street is gonna be on?
So if you are,
Is it on the, like, the meat market side or the other side?
no, the other
The other
side.
The other
Other
side,
side.
okay,
Yeah.
by the post office side.
Yes,
Post
post
office.
office side,
Because we already had some existing sidewalks we could tie into.
Right.
yeah.
and existing right-of-ways, which that was the deal breaker. If we wouldn't have had those right-of-ways, we probably wouldn't have been able to do this. But
Yeah.
the fact that we checked from the beginning, had right-of-ways, we could get moving on it.
Yeah. Mayor, I think the last time they put sidewalks was, when Miss Peggy added on Lombard and Parkview.
Yeah, when I was the pro tem, I pushed and got the ones on Parkview.
Parkview.
And people were mad at me, and they're really well utilized. People do
Yeah.
this trail that, I mean,
I love 'em.
they're used like crazy, but Miss Peggy and I were on the council together, and we both pushed for some sidewalks, and it was like they thought we were crazy, but, you know, we should have
I
been
use
doing
them almost
sidewalks.
every day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it was our birthday last week, that's why I'm plugging her in
Okay,
so
there you
much
go. Well,
tonight.
happy birthday. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Did we vote on this yet?
No. We're still in the discussion phase.
Did he, so, I'm not, can I have the floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can, the sidewalks are gonna be on your side, on your resident side, right?
Correct.
So maybe, since public dollars are being spent on your private property, you may not wanna vote on this.
Okay.
I'm asking, Jeff.
No.
Are the sidewalks?
On
her right-of-way.
On the right of way or property? I'm just asking.
On the right of
way.
On the right of way.
It's not on her property if it's on the right of way.
It is technically her
Okay.
property.
Is it within the street? Okay, sorry, I was looking at my curveball.
I'm just bringing it up just in case, because I had that issue.
Okay,
No,
it's not a
no.
problem. I mean,
No,
yeah.
look, and we wanna, we
Yeah.
gotta, nobody wants to get in trouble to put some
No.
sidewalks in.
I mean, and the cool thing is if everything else goes well, we're really gonna create a safe way for school.
We are.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Because-
It's gonna be great.
And then we're doing that work at Pesson that's been,
That's exactly
we've
right.
waited for 11 years or something like that, but
Yeah.
that's actually happening
Just-
too, which is more
So-
so.
So it's, yeah, it's,
Safe route to school.
Yeah,
so it's within Dale Street, right?
yeah.
Is it
I mean, it's on
within,
the edge of it
is it
from the
within
curb,
the
it's
neutral
back
ground?
behind, yes, behind the curb,
yeah,
back.
but it's not one of those lots in the subdivision. It's behind probably the front corners of your property.
Yeah.
Safe thing to do. Ricky's absolutely right.
Abstain, that's what I'm saying.
Safe
Okay.
thing to do. I'm not sure it's necessary, but it's a good thing it's a safe thing to do.
Okay.
Okay, well, good. Thanks for bringing that up. We'll be
I'll
all.
vote yes for you, Dee.
Thank you, I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that.
Somebody vote twice.
Too.
Somebody vote twice. No, all right.
Do I
Any
need
other
to press the
discussion?
abstain button?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, well, then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Good. Ricky, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Don't want to get anybody in trouble
Thank you, guys.
Good catch, Rick.
over something positive, you know?
Yeah, this
There's
is
a lifeguard
huge.
over there.
It is huge. This,
Yeah.
these sidewalks are gonna, yeah, you had a, I know, you know all about it.
Mr. Freddie,
Yes, sir.
I still got money on my 100,000, they're gonna be thrown on South Street. And you're gonna give me some help to get our sidewalks.
Okay, yeah, I do know you have some left. I'll look and see what you
See
got
how
left.
far we can go,
Okay,
and what you can add to it to help.
all right. I will look at it. And it is kind of time. I know I'm off subject, but because this was spent with the $100,000, we probably all need to review and just look and see who has what left. No one really has much left, I don't think, but let's
Yeah.
just look and see what's left so that we can kind of wrap those up.
Okay.
Just because the new ARPA projects are coming and we got so much coming. And if you got a little bit left, you could throw it in with something else, you know?
Right.
Okay, 7B.
Resolution 22-69, approving contract with Minville and Associates for services necessary to complete and submit the local government assistance program application, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. I need a second.
Second.
Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Any discussion on this item?
This is just for professional services to make the
Yeah, for him to
application
write
for
the
us.
grant and
Yeah.
do it all, and he sends it in and handles all those for us. Does a great job, too.
Man, that kayak deck, it's nice, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it's eye-catching.
And it's actually
man.
kind of cool the way it was built because it'll make it easier for you to get into the kayak, whereas a lot of decks, you flip over when you're in a kayak trying to get in them. So I was very excited to see that.
Yep.
Can't wait
He's
to get my
helped us on
kayak.
quite a lot of projects.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank you. 7C.
Resolution 22-70, accepting certificate of substantial completion for the New Iberia Trailhead Canoe and Kayak Launch Park project, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do you have a motion?
Move.
Motion by Councilman Dustin Swear and a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
Or, is it open, or are we still waiting on the, cause I saw the flagging's out, but,
Yeah, they, with this substantial completion, then we're gonna go ahead and open it. We're gonna end up planning to do a grand opening, and I got some plans for that. I think it's gonna be fun. But David's up to tell us, they had a punch list. They're working on their punch list. The landscaping went in, they had some things to do, but it's just about there.
okay, looks great, man.
Yeah, after tonight, we'll have a substantial completion, basically turns everything back over to the city.
Yeah.
From the contractor. They had liabilities and things on the site right now, so.
Yeah, and I've been seeing people sneaking using it, so people can't wait till it opens, Yes, sir.
Was there an issue with part of it being left-handed instead of right-handed or something like that? Was that all resolved?
We resolved that issue. It's longer on one side than the other, and it could have gone on another bank the opposite way, I guess. But when it came in, we corrected it at the boat landing. They got a welder, they moved it around, because we waited for that thing for months. We weren't gonna send it back, I can tell you. So it does look a little different than others, but it gives you a longer edge on the bayou, which we find is helpful. And then we're very lucky because the bridge abutment, the fender of the bridge, I guess they'd call it, all that wood structure, it's really neat that it's tucked in like that. So we're not getting all the trash and everything that diverter was set up to do. The bridge is doing for us for the most part. So we could leave it like that. And in some ways, it's kind of nice because it's longer along the water's edge.
Yeah, that was, I just heard some questioning about
Oh,
that
yeah,
from
oh, yeah,
the test
believe me.
project people.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Well, they know because they put a
Yeah.
bunch of them in, and yeah, I got a couple of calls that it was different.
Yeah, and,
But we different, so we love it.
well, I think it works.
Yeah.
I mean, which one is it?
And I plan to buy all the time,
Yeah.
paddling canoes, so, yeah.
We worked with the dock manufacturer on it, and they had no objections to the way that they had proposed doing
Okay.
it, so.
Yes, sir.
Just another question, so, is there like reflectors, anything on this thing, or? Because I know
don't really know.
the wood on the bridge, it comes out, but it doesn't actually meet the,
The edge of the dock, the long edge of the dock is actually about 13 or 14 feet from the fender in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
So
not really in the navigational way at all.
all right,
That was part of the requirement, we have to be set back a certain
Right.
Yeah,
distance.
there are permits for this.
okay.
oh yeah, we had to go through the Corps. Y'all remember it took months and
Why it
months,
took so long to
and they
do
did
that.
a manatee study. Like we had manatees, we'd have barbecued them a long time ago. But anyway, they were worried we had manatees, and so we went through probably 8 months of Corps scrutiny. Anyway,
Did they get rid of the alligators?
we got alligators.
I got a question. How deep is it at the end of it?
Probably about 6 feet.
Sick. Yeah, that's what I would
We've
have thought.
been getting a mud boat guy to come through there,
Uh-huh.
and he has a front-end loader on the boat,
Uh-huh.
and he's basically dredging and pushing so that we can get some more depth in there. So it's got a good little depth in that area, for sure. We don't expect it to, hit the bottom whenever the water's real low.
Okay.
And of course, we're watching. Every time it goes up and down, we all over there watching, because it's on a big hinge just to make sure that it's adjusted
Cool
right.
thing.
Anybody else?
No, just to say, again, it's nice,
It is, it is.
I
it's
said
a
it
new-
was nice under the L gap stuff, so
Yeah.
I didn't have a.
Uh-huh. I mean, I think it's gonna be good. It's
a nice fishing spot.
another amenity, and I don't know, I live on the bayou. Let me tell you, I see the boats, I see the jet skis, the wave runners, the everything you can imagine. People bring stuff out that looks 60 years old when it gets warm. But I see boats like crazy. I see people canoeing every day. I mean, we're really starting to utilize. It runs through the middle of our town. Why not utilize it? But people are really beginning to take to it. So I think that's a good thing. I mean, any recreation opportunity that we can bring, we need to bring it. Well, if there's nothing else, please vote your machines. Thank you. 7D.
Resolution 22-71, accepting a certificate of substantial completion for the City Slip Shoreline Lighting and Dockside Power Project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Dustin Sweeter. Is there any discussion on this item? Yeah, put the pictures up. And you can see what we did here, just to add some lighting. So there's No questions? Please vote your machines. Please vote again. Thank you. Thanks, Dave. 7E.
Resolution 22-72, approving proposal from Braun Intertech for professional geotechnical services and construction materials testing associated with asphalt overlay portion of City of New Iberia Streets project and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this item?
This is,
Yes, ma'am.
this is for our streets, right?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, imagine question about when they gonna start on.
Well, we have our engineer right here, and
$1 billion.
we actually just had a pre-construction meeting, so he'll be able to tell us all about it.
We had a
That's what you were gonna ask too, huh?
Yeah.
We get that question asked every day.
Oh, yeah, we all do, we all do.
Pre-construction meeting was last Wednesday. The notice to proceed is gonna get issued on Monday. But the contract is probably 2 weeks into May before he's really gonna be in town, ready to start working.
Okay.
They're procuring materials. There's some stuff they have to get beforehand. They still have to get us all submittals. There's some before paperwork we gotta get sorted out and make sure everything's good before they start. But they're gonna concentrate on all the reconstructions first. So that's about half the project. 21 of the streets out of the 51 are reconstructions. So they want to get in and get that equipment in the city and utilize it while it's all here, because it's a lot of equipment they have to move around. If they move it out, move it back in. So their focus is going to be the school streets during the summer and the reconstructions first. And then they'll start on the patch overlays, mill overlays after that. But they're working on getting us a schedule that we can distribute to you guys.
That'd be great.
That's one of the items they have to provide us. But in the meeting, that was their thought process of trying to get in and get the base on all these streets rebuilt. And then they'll come in at a little bit later after that and start overlaying stuff.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's the number one question. When are they gonna start? And when are they gonna get on my street? I'm like,
I know.
okay, the contractor hasn't given us that information yet.
I know. And then
It's
remember, we get these going, then in, I don't know, July, August, we bid out the concrete streets. And then right around November, we're going to the voters. It's not a new millage. It's gonna be the same money, but we're gonna take some money, pay off a millage, and then dedicate the same millage rate, and it could go to nothing but roads. And if we did that, we could finally stop this ridiculous cycle of spending $8 to $10 million and not doing anything for 10 years. It makes no sense. So this, for no new money, would allow us to keep working on the roads and finally give us some road maintenance money. So we would, by no new money, we would have a 20-year road program. So I'm hopeful that when the community sees these roads going, sees that we're really doing something, again, I can't reiterate enough, it took 4 years to get our finances straight where we could borrow $12.5 million. It's been a growth process. Now that we have, I don't want to quit, and I know that none of you want to quit. We have the study that shows every street in the city, and we got a lot more to do. So by looking at it differently, I think for no new money, we can make this work. And we need to, because if not, you just take the easy way out and say, oh, well, we did our roads, we'll have to wait 10 years and be the next guy. That's ridiculous.
Right.
So hopefully, we're on the path to, doing something different. And I have one thing, Ricky and I attended the pre-construction meeting, and it was Ricky's idea. So we talked to the contractor, and we are very hopeful that a lot of this remill product, the old asphalt that's all ground up, we told them that they could stockpile it at Bank Park on the old sewer system property. Of course, they're not going to get it back because that could be the base of the road to go from Admiral Dahl into the park. So Ricky came up with that, and I said, man, great idea. So we told them they could stockpile it there, but they're just not going to get it back.
One question.
Yes, sir.
I know we talked about it, but I know all of us are gonna get questions as this project goes along in the city. So how do you intend to communicate with the city? Is Sandra gonna maybe send us emails saying, look, these streets are scheduled this week, or how we're gonna communicate? Because I know our constituents are gonna be asking us questions.
there's a public notice that's gonna go out, that's gonna come to the city, because that's gotta get distributed.
I mean, it's gonna be general on all the streets, though, not specific, huh?
Well, no, because we can't get too far ahead of ourselves, so, I mean, we'll have a schedule that's gonna kind of plan out the project in the whole. Now, I realize, this is like a 9-month project, so, the schedule's gonna shift a lot, and then, with road construction, it's gonna change often. So we're gonna try to do our best to keep you updated, but the public notices have to go out at least 3 days in advance, you know, if they're gonna do any work on any street within like a 2 or 3 week time frame. So that'll go out, public notice on those streets. And we're gonna provide you guys with a report every month,
Yeah.
you know, for the meeting.
Hillary will probably be in charge of that. We already talked about it. She'll do Facebook, city's website, and, you know, as she does all our
That's
public
perfect,
notices. So she'll get it out there continuously.
Now, also, when the contractor's gonna start on every single street, they actually have to physically go put a door
The
hanger.
door, yeah, we're making them do
on
that.
every single door that's on that street. I think it's, that's 3 days in advance. They have to issue the notice, I think, 7 days in advance.
Yeah.
I got my numbers mixed up, but I think it's 2 or 3 days in advance before they actually physically start on the road. They gotta go notify every single
That's
house.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way they just know, look, 2 days, we're about to start on the street, you know, just gives
Yeah.
them advance
I
warning.
think they were a little surprised about that when we told them that, but they
They've had
gotta do it.
They've
It's
had
a-
to do it on every project that's ever done here.
Yeah, because they all acted like, whoa, but I think the door hanger is important, because
It is.
we remember that last term, we implemented that with Public Works, because we were having some issues that people were surprised we were there, and so the door hangers work.
I mean, not everybody gets newspaper, not everybody watches.
Yeah, nobody's
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Facebook.
So you
Yeah.
tell your residents, look for a door hanger soon.
Yep.
That we've done on every project, and it just helps notify the public, you know, let them know what's going on.
Yeah, that's great.
Move your vehicles off the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm good.
Any other questions, comments? And I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you. Let's see, where are we, 7G? Oh, you're right, 7F, I'm sorry.
Resolution 22-73, accepting proposal from Bayrard Habits and Associates for debris monitoring services and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all contracts and documentation in connection therewith.
Do you have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any discussion on this?
So just quick question.
Sure.
These are the people that are actually gonna pick up the old, broken up stuff and move it out of the way so that they can,
No, this is Bayrard and Habits for our hurricane, for them to do our.
oh, the hurricane stuff,
monitoring.
sorry, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is
yes.
very important. We are still bidding out the actual debris pickup.
Yeah.
We were very spoiled, and he's gonna have the big head, but he was moving today, so it's okay. Gordon did a great job for us for the last 20 years. It would still be blowing 50 or 60 miles an hour, and he'd say, it's slow enough, and I mean, his crews were out there. I know, I went with him and stuff was flying by. He would get on the streets, and we'll never have another Gordon, I can tell you.
Right.
But we're in the process of bidding it out, but they've done our monitoring for quite a few years and do a very good job of that. Aaron is having to put all that together to get our money back from FEMA, does an excellent job with that. It is a lot of work. And these guys do a really detailed, we could not get the money back if they did not, on the front end, document every bit of it. So I don't want to use anybody else. They really do a good job, and they're local, and this is one of the pieces. I'll be bringing, after we get the bids, I'll be bringing the bid for the the debris pickup.
Right,
But
okay.
that's a whole nother, but that's what this one's about.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you. Let's hope we don't have to use it.
It's the one contract I never want you to sign.
Me too, man. I'm telling you. I gotta call you, it's a dread. Thank you, man. 7G.
Resolution 22-74, rejecting proposals received in response to requests for proposals for disaster recovery services on behalf of the city of New Iberia.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed, and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas, and I'll explain that we got some bids in, and we are rebidding the project. This is to pick up the debris. So we are actually going back out with new proposals, accepting new proposals.
And it's basically because you want a local company or somebody close?
Well, I need to get, it's a combination that you need a good price. You need to make sure that they're gonna service you. Because regardless of where they're from, you know, if our region gets hit, I do want someone who's gonna come and show up. I have heard some stories of people from far away, they got hit too, they just don't come.
Okay.
So, you know, again, we were very spoiled by having Gordon, who lived on Main Street, who, you know, parked his equipment in Bully Plaza the day before the storm, and then was out running around. We're not gonna have that. So I need to be able to look at the bids and analyze them and find the best price, the best service, you know, and make sure they meet all the requirements. So we just felt that we would go out for a few more bids.
Okay.
And there was some concern about who got notified and who didn't get notified.
Yeah, we did have a little internal issue too
Yeah,
that
we had local concern.
we had a list and we put it out there and some people claimed that the email went to their spam, some people, I just didn't feel that everybody got a fair shake. So I think the
Okay.
best thing to do is just rebid
Start
the whole
over.
thing.
Okay.
Anybody else? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank you. Seven H, and just remind me after we are on the floor, I have something to add to this one.
Resolution 22-75, authorizing the mayor to purchase a street sweeper on behalf of the city of New Iberia as part of the American Rescue Plan Act project entitled EC5, Clean Water, Storm Water, Purchase of a Street Sweeper, and authorizing the mayor to execute any and all contracts and documentation in connection therewith.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Marlon Lewis and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. What I need to add and see if Jeff's okay with doing it like this, I'd like to add $16,320 to the price because we would like to purchase a 5-year extended warranty. We are buying this equipment. We really want to own the street sweeper. We have one street sweeper that is a very nice one. We have one that's way too small that doesn't do much, that by the time you run it around for a little while, it's full, and then you got to drive it all the way back to the barn. It's useless. This one is one exactly like the one that we have that performs well. But since we're buying it new, there's no one locally who works on a street sweeper, or it's very expensive. So we would like to add the $16,000 to the price, and we have the money. It still will be well within what we budgeted to do a 5-year extended warranty.
Okay.
So Jeff, can I just, how do we do that?
I'll make a substitute motion.
Well,
Let me,
An amendment.
If you
let me
can,
catch up to you.
it's an ordinance, you gotta make a substitute.
it's a resolution.
It's a resolution, you gotta make a substitute, I think.
I think so too. Let's let it burn his nickel. He's going out.
Yeah, I am. Not today.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I know.
I'm flat
Oh,
rate
you're
here.
flat rate today.
I'm flat rate here.
I'm just picking on you. He always tells me he's coin operated. I'll call him and say, man, you got a minute? Yeah, I'm coin operated. I just always get a kick out of that.
Because I am most of the time.
Vote on it, then you vote on the original.
Okay, so we have a motion for the resolution as it is,
Yes,
and what you want to do is add something to it.
so we amend it.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we need to amend the motion, and then vote on the amended motion, and then proceed, right?
Yes, I just, like I said, I wanted to ask.
So I'll make a substitute motion to add additional $16,320 for a 5-year extended warranty on the purchase of our new street sweeper.
I'll second that
Okay,
motion.
second.
Okay, got a motion to amend by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and Councilman Marlon Lewis. Is there any discussion on this amendment? Yes, sir.
Not saying I'm not for it, but all I'm asking is there any warranty at all that came with the original purchase? Because I know
Yeah.
this is an extended warranty, so.
Yeah, there's like 1 year.
A 1 year
you know,
deal?
Yeah, 1 year and it gets worse as it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I
So 1
understand how
year.
warranties go.
Yeah.
Might get that phone call from Rachel, the warranty department, and ask for more money.
Uh-huh. Is it? Anybody else? Then please, vote on the amendment. Thank you very much. Now, I need a motion for the, I need a motion again to vote
So
on this
moved.
amendment. All right, got a
Second.
motion by, Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed. Is there any more discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines. Thank you. Joe is going to be one excited man because he asked me about this. This was the first time we could do it with the ARPA stuff, but he's going to be excited. Can't wait to tell him. Sure. I don't know what we do with that little one. It's useless.
Use it for the parks.
Maybe so. Hey,
For the
yo,
pepper
look,
flakes.
great
Two
line.
guys that got
Great
box.
line. Think about it. Two guys.
Sweet, sour, and pepper flakes.
All right, 7I.
Resolution 22-76, awarding 6-month bids.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear. Is there any discussion on this item? Then please vote your machines. Oh, wait, you had it?
I just want, who we are not awarding a 6-month bid to?
Oh, we're gonna have to look.
There's a
Bids,
bunch
they got
of them.
several.
It's all
there's a
those.
bunch of them.
Okay,
It's all
okay,
those,
okay.
yeah,
Bid,
parts and
bid.
stuff like that,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rick. Bid.
Yeah, it's all product stuff.
I was thinking
Yeah.
6-month contract.
And they're all over the place, though.
Yeah, all over the place. K&J and just all kinds of people. Janitorial, you know.
I
Yeah.
was thinking 6-month contract.
I got you.
I was impressed with the bids because there was a substantial difference between the bids.
Yeah, we got
I
some
know.
good bids this time. Because sometimes I get one bidder, you know, it's all small stuff. Any other discussion? Then, please vote your machines. Thank you. We got some pages. 8A.
Introduction of special ordinance number 2021-2022-08, amending the budget to reflect the receipt and utilization of LGAP funds and to set for public hearing on May 3rd, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman
Second.
David Broussard and a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Is there any discussion on this item?
These are those tractors and stuff, right, that we're gonna buy?
A tractor and a truck. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If there's no other,
This state money that we're using.
yeah, this is the
to
money that
enhance
Mr. Minville helps us get every
Correct.
year, and every year I buy equipment with it. It's up to 50,000, and every year we buy equipment. Then I'd ask you to please vote. Oh, well, you had a question?
No?
Okay, then,
No,
I
ask
saw
that
you do like this, then please vote your machines. You were just cocking. All right, 9A.
Kevin Zerang to present budget to present monthly budget reports for November 1, 2021 through February 28th, 2022.
Budget to actual. Budget to actual.
Good evening, everyone.
This packet is huge.
So if everybody's okay, we'll do everything in summary like we have in the past. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to interrupt me. So we're going to start. So this is through February. That's month 4. We should be 33% through our budget at that point. General fund budgeted was 27 million. We are currently at 8.4, leaving us at 31.11%. Expenses 27.4, year to date 7.6, leaving us at 27.9. Parks and Recreation revenue 1.2, actuals 800,000, leaving us at 66.9% of revenue. Expenses of 1.5, actual 300,000, leaving us at 20.03%. Public Works, revenue 1.8, actual 1.1, leaving us at 59.6%. Expenses 2.5, actuals 795, leaving us at 31.9%. Sales tax funds, budgeted 9.8, actual 3.3, leaving us at 34.11. Expenses or transfers out of 12.2, actual 4.1, leaving us at 33.28. Public Safety Fund revenue of 3.8, actual is I apologize, there's an adjustment. That should actually be an additional 140,000. If y'all want, I can calculate that real quick.
You're doing public safety, right?
Yes, sir. Bringing us up to 1.2, leaving us at 31%. What happened is we have to The revenue, sales tax revenue for that month is always posted in the following month, so I have to go in and manually adjust the numbers. So on the GL, it's on next month, but for this purposes, it's really the sales tax for that month.
Okay.
Expenses of 3.8, actual is 1.3, leaving us at 33.27%. Garbage fund, 4.5, actuals 1.5, leaving us at 34.29 on the revenue, which is sales tax. Expenses are 4.5, actuals 1.5, leaving us at 33.23%. Section 8 vouchers, revenue of 1.4, actuals 461, leaving us at 33.21. Expenses, 1.4 million. Actuals is 483, leaving us at 34.51%. Wastewater, revenue of 4.9 million. Actuals is 1.8, leaving us at 36.71% of revenue. Expenses, 5.3. Actuals, 1.6, leaving us at 29.84% of expenses. Any questions?
So if we go back to the general fund and we look at the Cliff Oakland building, have we finished, or we still have some invoices we have left to pay? I know we were wrapping that project up.
We just signed the certificate of completion this month.
Mhm.
So therefore, what's left will be the
The
retainage.
retainage.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't given them that yet. And I got one roof leak that we have not been able to find, so,
Okay.
working on that, in the front building.
So it should be done shortly.
And is there any reason why our city hall occupancy is high? I mean, it's at the expense side, it's 48%.
City Hall occupancy is mainly the building improvements, capital outlay. Those aren't done equally each month, so we are,
As we
We've
pull
accomplished
the
more than what-
trigger on projects, it goes up. Like
Okay.
I still have 50,000, we haven't even bid out to do the fountain in the front. I still have, we're waiting on the contractor on the bricks in the front. But while we're waiting, we've been doing other projects, air conditioning, all kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
right now, as you see, they're cleaning the ducts out, so as we finish stuff, that fluctuates, but it's not monthly, it's per accomplishing the task,
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
But
I'm
we do
just
have
checking.
a lot of things to do around here.
Yeah, okay.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
Kevin, on the demolition, the 159,200, we only spent around 42,000. Based on, you know how many projects have been completed with that 42 per se? I mean, if you don't, it's
the
gonna be.
expenses of, unfortunately.
Jimmy will know.
No, sorry, that
Yeah.
would probably be best left.
Yeah, I'm
up
just,
to-
just curious,
Jimmy?
what percentage we're at on the money we spent? I'm looking at Jimmy, I
How
can't
many
tell him.
projects we have done?
I think we did the last 10.
Yeah.
The 10 previous, I still got 3 left
On the first round.
on it. Yeah, from last year,
Right.
the previous year. I still got 3 left.
And then we bring in,
It's in June.
yeah, and then we bring in 10 more.
One-
Total of 20, 10 last meeting, 10.
I'm just looking at that 42 and seeing how many we did versus the 159, just trying to, see where we,
That's probably the last 10.
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking, which is from what
And
you
they run
said.
about $4,000 or $5,000 a piece,
Well,
average.
yeah,
We
depends.
know it's best, it's dependent,
Yeah.
but we've been
Yeah.
averaging a pretty good average of
So,
about
if
6 on the
we've done-
high end, 4 on the low, something like that.
So if you've done 10, that averages is about 4,300
That's what he just said, yeah.
year to date.
Yeah,
So I'm just,
But some of the ones, and I guess sometimes we pick them and the trailers don't have as bad, you kind of know when you're going in, like, I'll gauge it by our money because we have way more targets than we would want. And so unfortunately, but we kind of gauge it by the money, like, the ones that are gonna be cheap, the ones that aren't, and then when you get them tested for asbestos, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay, I'm good on that, thank you, Kevin.
Anybody else, any questions, comments? Thank you, Kevin.
yeah, so if we add the remaining 3, that would put us at 35%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Did that last week. All right, get a second, we'll get the screen up and.
Have it in here.
a minute, just setting it up.
While we're doing that, can I just make a couple
Oh, sure.
comments about the
Yeah.
demos?
Filibuster.
What's that?
Filibuster.
Yeah. You know, we go through a lot of process on all these demolitions. You know, first we have to find out who the owner is, we have to give them notice, we have to bring them up here, we have hearings, we have revisits and all that kind of stuff. All that's unfortunately necessary. And some of these ownership that we're gonna go over, I'll comment on when the things come up. You know, Marlo talks about grandma's house. Well, we got great-grandma's house and great-great-grandma's house. You know, we got one of them that we've got probably 30 owners that we've identified who possibly have interest in the property. And we try to be careful with this, and y'all are real patient with us going through it, but, you know, sometimes we do get challenged on these things, and we've got some court cases that we've had to deal with. And yesterday, for example, we had one with Dr. Adele, with one of his injunctions, and we had to oppose it, and had a little hearing and put on, Jimmy qualified as an expert witness in code compliance, and, you know, the whole thing turned out really well. And when we're challenged, we have our stuff together, we're organized, our people have done things the right way, so it works. But there's a lot of process in these. Hopefully we'll have fewer of these things challenged as it goes forward, but we'll just have to see. So we've been to court with Dr. Adele once on an injunction, and we prevailed. We've been, the second property, we prevailed. I'm talking to Isabella Wu, because she filed something to sue us, and if we do our homework and we're prepared, then it's just fine. But there's a reason why we have all these steps and due process protections, because sometimes when you gotta go to court, you have to prove every step. And if somebody appeals one of these things, we have the burden of proof in district court, and we have to make our case. So
we're gonna prevail over Ms. Wu?
we're gonna work on with Ms. Wu on getting the thing done. I'll talk to you about it after the meeting.
Okay.
She's got a new contractor, and
Oh, okay, cool.
we're trying, but you know, and always, we try to get these things resolved before we have to go knock stuff down.
Yeah.
Because the cheapest way for us to do it is to make somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And for a long time, we were able to get away with that. We got some real, you know, messes now. But we will always try to do that first. And if we get no cooperation, then we're gonna go ahead, which is what we got some of them, we have no alternative.
Thank you, and good job on that, because it, you know, I know behind the scenes how much work y'all all put into that. And
Look,
part of
I can't say enough for Liz. She handles this paperwork. She's got her I's dotted and her T's crossed. And there's only 3 of us in the office. Tomorrow, I have to spend all day in the office so she can do what she's got to do with the paperwork.
Oh, yeah, when I get the file, you know, to prepare for this thing, yesterday we had 15 exhibits we had to get into court, so we had to have all our records and everything. Aaron got us certified copies of stuff. I mean, those records are clean. They're in order.
Good.
And this thing came before, that one came before the council 5 different times.
Yeah, that's another thing, is you can't say we're not giving people chances.
No,
because
no,
we
we're
spent
begging them.
months.
We're begging
You know, yeah, we asking them, please don't make us do this.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, Jimmy?
All right, the first one.
Yeah, I know. 10A.
Resolution
Just warming
twenty-two
it up.
77 declaring that the buildings at 317 West Pershing Street, District 5, is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Dee Dee Johnson-Reed, and a second by Councilman Dustin Swear.
Okay. The first question you'll usually ask, this one's not adjudicated.
Right.
Okay.
And they did purchase a permit on December the 6th. If you notice, they've started taking the roofing off. And I noticed they had a trailer there loaded, ready to haul some more debris off today. So hopefully by May the 17th, we'll have more progress.
That's correct. I mean, you can see where they were already starting to.
Yeah, I mean, they're making an effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Get down there, no.
hopefully won't take too long to get it done, because it is definitely dangerous.
Indeed, just, I think that I knew the guys, and
Yeah.
I did go talk to them, like you said I could, and
Yeah.
they, you know, they really doing their due diligence, on this house. The family's tearing it down themselves, so.
Yeah. Well, I had talked to one of the sons. He was sitting on the porch one day, and I had a conversation with him about, you know, it's time to tear it down, you know, because he kept saying, well, we might fix it. Well, it's time to tear it down because it's a hazard. And so I'm glad to see that they've started moving in that direction.
But
So-
you remember when I asked you
Yeah,
if it was okay
absolutely.
if
I
I go, 'cause
remember,
knew 'em.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
This-
Yeah, I remember when we had that
If
conversation.
my memory serves me correct, this house, when Tim was here, had come up for the demolition list, and they said they were gonna fix it.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything, so.
That's been
And I
years.
remember that.
Yeah.
About 20 of them.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of family members involved in this particular property, but I don't think they're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Because that's what he told me, and I'm like, okay, but you guys haven't made any progress on
Yeah,
this.
well, they're starting to move, so
But
that's
it's
good.
starting to tear it down now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad to see that.
Oh, yeah.
I passed by there the other day, and I said, okay, so they are tearing it down, so we don't have to do it for them.
Definitely. Yes, sir.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I used to watch the city council meeting before I sat in this chair. And I remember that actual property coming up for demo, like you said. So so how long do we give them? I know, I remember back then the family wanted to fix it up, like I said. And now they're making an attempt to tear it down. So although it's not gonna cost us money, it's about them doing it. That's the whole goal.
Right.
But how long do we give them, in other words?
I
Like,
think you keep the
do
pressure
they
on.
peck at it
and-
for 6 months and then they,
I think you give them 30 days and make sure that they continue to make improvement, and then, I'm not saying you don't give them another 30 after that, but if they're
Yeah.
moving on it and making improvements, you know, or whatever, I mean, I just think you,
Well, my problem is when they buy a permit to fix it. That permit's good for 6 months, but if they don't do anything in the first 4 months, then what do we do?
so the permit was bought to fix or
No,
demolish?
for the demo.
Okay,
That was a demo
all
permit.
right.
What makes it good for 6 months?
The timeline of the permit,
So,
180 days.
okay,
That's in the state law.
in the state law.
yeah.
So in other words, they would need to finish in 2 months if they've already had it for 4.
Well, if they're
No.
showing
They just need to
progress
start.
of it coming
Okay.
down, I'm good to let them keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the end of the 6 months, if they not finished, then,
You gotta come and get a new permit?
yeah,
Okay.
or we'll do it.
But I think when we give them a permit, we need to tell them, if you come back for a revisit.
Yeah.
And they're not making progress,
Progress.
we'll pull it.
Right.
Yeah,
We
that
just
was
need
the
to keep-
question I was
Understand,
asking, yeah.
understand.
Yeah, we need to keep the pressure on.
Yeah,
Isabel
and I do
Lewis,
think you need to keep the pressure on, I just think
Yeah.
you do, because, you know.
It's gotta be real.
Okay. So. I'll
This
need
is
a,
to set it for the public hearing,
right,
May 7th, May 17th.
okay,
We got a motion and a second. We just need to vote.
all right. If there's no other discussion, please vote. I thought we were talking more. Talk show. 10B.
Resolution 22-78, declaring that the building at address 608 Providence Street in District 5 is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. Okay, got a motion and a second?
This is another house that was on the demolition 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
6 months after it came off the list, see that tree in the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Took out the front part of the
Exactly.
house.
literally, it's a mess.
Yeah. And that one's not adjudicated either.
Right,
Okay.
I think we have living owners, though.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do.
I don't know, I haven't seen the list
I
yet.
talked to one of the guys, he called me one day about it, and I'm like, listen, you gotta do something, or we're gonna have to tear it down, so.
Yeah. There's a Benny Miller at 711 West Washington. I don't know. if
Yeah,
you-
he's the one that comes to the meeting.
Yeah, because there are 3 owners of that one.
Yeah,
Have they done anything to it, Dee Dee?
no, no, nothing, I mean, the tree fell on it, and it made it worse. It literally, they were trying to like keep the wall up by putting some other boards there, but literally, I think if they pull that board, it's gonna fall just flat on the ground, so it needs to go.
Okay. Okay, well, we got it set for May 17th. Any other discussion? Then please vote your machines, and we'll visit it again. 10C.
Resolution 22-79, declaring that the buildings at address 713 Providence Street in District 5 is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed, and second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas.
Yeah. There you go.
Fingers are frozen.
Yep. That one's not adjudicated either.
Okay.
Things are starting to fall off of it. The sills are in horrible shape.
That's by
Term.
St. Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah.
Actually, two of the owners came in and talked to us about it, wanted to know when it was gonna come down. And I explained to them that, you know, if the city tears it down, they're gonna pay a lot more than
Yeah,
if they
right.
do it
Cheaper if
themselves.
they do it themselves.
It's cheaper if they do it themselves, so I don't know where they at with it.
Well,
I haven't
passed-
seen them since.
Yeah, and I had passed by there the other day, and nothing's been done.
No.
And I can tell you that if it looks like it's like sliding off the pillars, and the neighbor next door, I get calls from her on a weekly basis asking when we're gonna tear it down, because it's gonna fall into her house. So, she calls, as a matter of fact, she called me today. So, we just, that one needs to come down.
Okay. Okay, well, we setting it for May 17th. Any other discussion? And please vote your machines. And that's why we tear these down. It's because of the neighbors and because of what it does to neighborhoods, you know?
Yeah.
All right, 10D.
Resolution 22-80, declaring that the buildings at address 1516 Rogers Street in District 3 is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman David Broussard and Councilman Marlon Lewis.
Way long enough to take it down.
This one's right next door to the, apartments
Nice
back in Manila.
landscaping.
I know, man.
If we had any jungle at all, that'd be where the jungle is in Yarberry.
Landscaping,
Oh,
man.
no,
Yeah.
the jungle's coming up.
It's like a Hawaiian
Yeah.
paradise.
Jungle's definitely coming up.
Yeah, I know. I know which
I'm
one
so
you're talking
excited
about.
about that one.
I know.
I make a motion to
This
take
one-
it down, Mr.
That
Mayor.
one's adjudicated.
Okay, well, right now, we're making a
Yeah.
motion to set for public hearing.
Right.
Public hearing, take it down.
Just vote yes.
Yeah, just,
Yep.
the process is starting, so May
Right.
17th.
May, that's fine.
Okay, any other discussion? Then please vote your machines.
Whoever wants to save anything better come over here.
10E.
Resolution 22-81, declaring that the buildings at 801 School Street in District 5 is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilman Dustin Stewart. All right, any discussion?
I just got a question. That's, on Ann Street too, huh?
That is,
Yeah,
that's
corner
right
of
on
Ann
Ann
and
and
Ann and
School.
school.
Yeah,
Okay.
right at the
Yeah,
corner.
that's the one that the
Yes.
guy
That burnt.
called me and called you
Exact,
about.
yeah, exactly.
Burnt.
But literally, the neighbor that lives across the street called me yesterday, asking me, when is this thing coming down?
Yeah.
She's tired of looking at it, it's been years. I told her it's coming up today, so.
Yep.
Again, Mr. Mayor, I have a house or two.
Now, well, I will tell you that the guy, the person that spoke to me and to Marlon doesn't own the property, his wife's family does. He may show up on the 17th saying that he wants to fix it. Nothing's happened since you and I have had that conversation with it.
Right.
Not one thing has been done. So, just FYI.
And he was made aware that
Yes.
it was gonna be coming up
Exactly.
for public.
Exactly, because I told him that I put it on the demolition list because I'm tired of looking at it. It's been up there for ages, and the neighbors are just complaining and complaining about it. And he said that, well, I won't tell you what he said, but
But so he, in other words, he had time
he's had
before
time.
we're gonna even look at
Exactly.
giving him more time. So he's had,
Exactly. And again, he's not an owner.
Right,
His wife's family
His
owns the
family live
property.
in my district, the Dominics.
Yeah. So, I don't know if he's gonna show up or if his wife, because I don't know that he can do anything because he doesn't own the property, but his wife may, he may bring his wife with him, I'm not sure. But there's no work being, nothing has happened since Marlon and I had a conversation with them.
But since you said what you said, we do say are a representative of the family, right?
Yeah, somebody to come and tell us what they're
Okay,
gonna do.
so-
It has to be an owner. I mean, somebody's gotta give permission, you know.
Right, to get, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
we don't care who fixes it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So
do
they have
we care
permission
who
to
shows
fix it.
up?
Yes.
What's that?
Do
No,
we care who shows up to
Representative.
represent it?
a representative.
I mean, we've had contractors come a few times. We've
Okay.
had, you know, I mean, just so somebody comes and files a plan, you know, give me a flight plan of what you're gonna do.
Okay.
And that's why we do this publicly, because, you know, this is working tonight. This is public notice. So, you know, it's part of the process, but they need to come and tell us what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
So-
we have to,
right.
we have to notify the owner,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and they don't have to be here.
And we're gonna follow our process, about them coming in and getting their permit.
Oh, yeah, the whole nine
okay,
yards.
cool.
We don't,
Yeah.
the reason we're successful and we win in court is we don't deviate from our process, and that's important.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Broussard, you had your hand up, and then I'll call him to, you were saying something.
Boarded up.
Yeah, but a whole.
I see now, we thought if they site, even though it's ugly,
Right.
No, no,
It's
can you
boarded
show
up.
the other picture,
Yeah, but
Aaron?
there's-
That's on the side,
But I
there's
got a
another,
point.
Yeah, but
that's
look,
what the
look.
problem
Look at
is.
the rest of it.
I'm just, I
But
got.
it's still
I know,
boarded
look at
up.
the rest
On
of it.
Dale and Henshaw.
Yeah.
Got 3 little shotgun houses, we got them to board it up. I mean, it looked like junk. I'd
Well,
like you to relook
that
at
was-
it. If
But
we
this
can
is
look at this,
burnt.
we need to look at that.
Yeah.
It's also if it's a safety hazard, because you can have plywood on the windows and the wall's about to fall down and kill somebody. So, and if it's burnt, and if it's a health hazard, so it's more than, you know, a piece
Yeah.
of plywood doesn't save you. I'm not being ugly, it's a step,
But I got-
but it doesn't save you. If
Right.
it's still unsafe, we rule on houses that are unsafe and that are, you know, a danger to the neighborhood. So
And I think
plywood
it's-
doesn't always save you.
I think it's still early on this conversation, but I gotta agree with Mr. Broussard, it's boarded up. I mean, but I'm not, still early, when they come, we'll talk about it then, but. 'cause,
But it's also burnt.
Yeah, but they.
But it's been boarded for 5 or 6 years.
Right, that'd be my issue.
And
Yeah.
they haven't done anything.
Right, that'd be my issue right there, how long it's
Okay.
been boarded up.
Well, I'll call in on Dale and Henshaw again. It's been 6 years boarded up.
You can, in other
Nothing
words,
being done.
you can't hold on to your family heirloom at the expense of the rest of the community.
Exactly,
Like I
which
said,
is,
look at it this way, plywood can't save you.
Right.
It
If
might,
it's-
it might, you know,
If it's-
stall it for a little while, but
If
that's
it's not
that's the
occupied,
whole
it's
answer.
deteriorating.
Yep.
and I can tell you that if you look at this picture, the window on the left side, that actually, the plywood's halfway coming off, and on that front door, the plywood's not all the way nailed in there correctly.
I got some uglies in
I
my
pass in front there all the time. It's a,
Jeff, we
it's
need
a
her in
mess.
court.
I'm just, let me tell you what, I gotta
Need
say
her
this.
in court to say she
Man.
goes.
This is my thing. I pass by it all the time going on my Masonic
Yeah,
Lodge,
and
so,
she does
and he
go.
never done
Yeah.
nothing since we talked, whatever.
Right.
They all, actually, they all
Yeah.
go.
But I don't, when I hear the comment, my neighbor getting tired looking at it, that kind of bothers me, because you can get tired looking at anything, that don't mean it's legal to get rid of it.
Well, that's no different from
I'm just
what
saying.
happened with Dr. Ardell.
Yeah,
I mean,
what,
Mr. Broussard was saying that all the neighbors were complaining about Dr. Ardell's house. So that's no different. I mean, people have a right to say,
Right, no,
but
but
not to
listen-
mention the fact that it's taken away from the property value of the home across the
Right,
street.
no, but listen what I'm saying. You can say it, but make sure you're legal when you do it.
I
You can
understand, I'm
say
just
it,
saying,
make sure
yeah.
you're legal when you do it.
That's why we have this process.
I'm not arguing
No,
about
but I'm
them
just saying,
it 'cause-
we talk about the community every time we talk about a house.
No, what I'm saying is, we say a lot of things, but they're not necessarily legal.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I think we legal though.
So when people say that, they say,
Well,
oh man, I don't like
well-
how it look.
Right.
And
We all know
you don't like
that,
how I look.
yeah.
Okay,
But is it
Marlon.
legal to get rid of me?
But looking at you,
I like that.
no, looking
like
at you
that.
isn't gonna
Okay,
change
we
the,
supposed
my
to be saying-
value.
I know.
I'm just saying, think about that.
But that's a property value issue too.
No, I'm not talking about that house. I'm just saying that one comment. I'm tired looking at it. I don't like how it look. They can say that about anything. They can say that about a beautiful home.
Agreed.
I'm just saying,
but
think
this
about
how-
that though before we get too. I'm trying to get us to not be so emotionally attached to what the neighbors are saying, to where we going against what's legal.
We're not going with against.
That's,
I'm not talking about this house, I'm just saying.
yeah, that's why we have a process, number one. I always say ugly meets code, okay?
Right.
We melt it down to, is it a hazard? Is it safe?
Damn,
Is
I
it
was
not
kinda
safe?
melted down.
And so you kind of got to melt it down, okay? But all of our discussion just adds to the mix. In other words, it takes this some time for everybody to stay on track, and it's fun. That's what makes these meetings cool. But, you know, for me, it is down to, is it a safety issue? That's why we have this process. That's why Jimmy's now the special master. His head's getting big about everything. That's why Jeff spends all that time being coin operated. In other words, we have a process and we follow our process. And at the end, the heart in the end is out of it because we're making a legal decision. You know, but it just, it's fun to get there. And we all are going to take it personal because we all represent people, you know. But in the end, I think we get there. Yeah, Jeff, you had your hand up.
Yeah, we start with an inspection report by the building inspector, and the statute says it's got to be in a dilapidated and dangerous condition.
Yep.
So we talk about safety in the beginning, we measure it against safety. If we go to court, we got to prove safety. So, you know, that's really the standard. Now, it can be unsafe and ugly,
Right.
and it can be unsafe and the neighbors complain, or it can be unsafe and the council's up in arms, you know, because they're tired of looking at it or whatever. But it's always got to be unsafe. And that's what we're
Can be
doing.
unsafe and attractive too.
Yeah, pretty can kill
Can
you.
be, yeah, well,
All right, I quit.
I know some people like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, don't encourage me. Any more discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
Yo, bringing up a good point with ugly that meet code, because I hope the landlord that lives next door to my house is watching, because I hate looking at that house every day, but that doesn't mean I can go put it on the demo list tomorrow.
Right.
So it's not a safe house, but it is what it is.
But if it's not a safe house, why can't you put it on the list?
Let me just put it to you this way: it's the structure is safe. It's the people that are in it that aren't.
Okay.
So I'm glad they're out, but I'm hoping the landlord sees, this combo. So,
gotcha.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on this item? Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna add to it, it's a health hazard because it caught on fire, so they had to put the fire out with water, and it's boarded up. There's mold in there. I mean, so that's unhealthy. So even though it's boarded up partially, because I do see where the gap was on the
Yeah.
window, it's definitely a health hazard, and I think should be there. Any house that has caught fire, I think, should be on a demo list if no one's doing anything with it.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure
Anybody?
I'll get a call about it.
Anybody else?
The no one doing something with it part, I agree with, but the mold part, you ain't got no business climbing that roof going in here some of that mold.
You'd be surprised where
You ain't got no business
You'd be
climbing.
surprised where people
You
go.
ain't got no business climbing in that
Well,
roof to go
he's
do
on a roll,
anything
man.
wrong and have to deal with that mold.
He's on a roll.
I'm just being honest.
Mold spores fly.
Well, if I tell you what, if there's mold below, we're all gonna go. Cause they got mold, they got houses open all over town like that got mold and all. Yeah, we in a mold part of the world. So no, we can't say that.
But every one of these starts with code violations,
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
everyone.
To me, dangerous is if the tin about to fall off and slice a child while he in the street, or if it's open and they got beams that can fall down on that child. You know, to me, but that's Jimmy's job. But Freddie, you did say later on I might make a good building inspector.
I'm telling you, I've been thinking
Meetings
that.
ago.
I've been thinking
But Jimmy,
that.
I don't want your job. I'm just saying.
Any other discussion on this item? Nope. Well, then I'm sorry to say, please vote your machines. We got to move on.
Yeah.
Because this was
Learn
fun.
as we go sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fun. Serious, but fun. 10F.
Resolution 22-82, declaring that the buildings at address 1103 Spencer Loop, District 2, is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman
Second.
Marlon Lewis and a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter.
This one's adjudicated.
Okay. So,
Yeah. And the carport, don't walk under it. And in the back.
dangerous.
Yeah. And in the back, the siding is coming off of the trailer.
All right.
Oh, no comment.
No comments?
It's a trail, it's cheap, nobody's gonna be here. My mind is already made up.
All right. Well, then we'll just
We'll
set
see.
it for
We'll see.
public
We'll see.
hearing.
Yeah.
Go from there.
And it's your
All right.
district, and we'll do
Is-
as you wish.
Is there any other discussion? Then please vote your machines. Thank y'all. Ten G.
Resolution 22-83, declaring that the building at address 1214 St. Jude Avenue, District 2, is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas and a second.
That's in mine.
That's in my district, that's in District Two.
That's
And
two.
who,
That's
who
two.
That's
seconded?
two.
That's in District Two.
David second.
Councilman David Broussard, you with a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
I know.
Just making sure.
I'm making sure they were in my district.
Okay.
Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's in
I'm
Marlin.
looking at, I'm trying to see what's wrong with it, like what's horribly wrong with it.
Go pass by, the roof's all off.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there's no
Oh,
roof
I'm
on
looking
it.
at that, I could see it
Yeah,
now. I
it
thought
looked like
that
a
was
dark
the
roof, but there's no
color.
roof.
Look like it was-
I thought that was some solar panels.
Yeah, it looks like the roof.
It's a skylight.
I like that one.
You went too far with that.
Yeah, that was good.
Thought it was some solar
We
panels.
know who the owner is, or it's adjudicated, or?
No, it's not adjudicated.
Okay, look like it's connected to that brick home, huh? It's in the same yard?
No,
No,
Okay,
I think it's with the property in the back.
okay.
we go to May on that one.
I ain't saying nothing about that one. I'm gonna go look at it like Jimmy said. We know who the owner is? I'll get,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's assessed to Trudy Ann Romero, who lives on Corrine Street, and I think she was recently, somebody donated that property to her recently. So there may be some, interest there, I don't know.
Gift that keeps giving.
Looks like we have a live balloon.
Thanks.
Okay.
It's his district.
oh, that's mine.
No, Corrine, where she lives. What address? I'm just saying, my,
Oh, you talking about on the next one?
no, the owner of this house lives on
Oh, she
Corrine.
lives on Corrine, that's Corrine.
That's what I said.
Wilson.
That's actually part of my
DDL.
district.
Yeah,
I just wondered what number, if
Yeah.
you knew, recognize the name.
Okay. Any other discussion? Then I'd ask you to please vote your machines. Thank y'all. 10H.
Resolution 22-84, declaring that the buildings at address 510 West St. Peter Street, District 5, is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilwoman
Second.
Judy Johnson-Reed and a second by Councilwoman Deidre Ledbetter. Okay.
This is a true jungle.
That's the trunk, that's the
Yeah.
jungle.
Yes, the jungle.
Wasn't this up here before recently?
No,
No.
The one next door?
No, it came,
No?
it came
You
up.
in there?
no,
It
this
came
one
up
didn't
to
come up.
introduce to us.
Yeah, when we had done the previous ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
That it was coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
That it was
You know how
coming.
we do
Yeah.
up on deck,
Yeah.
who's coming? You know?
Coming attractions.
Oh, yeah.
Coming
yeah.
attractions
Coming
in
attractions.
between. No, it's true.
Which is a point we need to make clear to the public. You're getting 3 and 4 times to know that
yeah,
your
that's why
house
I
is.
do it. We put it up early to say, hey, if you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is before the process.
Yeah,
You know, come do something.
Yeah.
Plus, it shows that we're keeping the momentum going, because I really think it's important. We keep dedicating money to do this. We're actually doing it. We're tearing things down. I think the public needs to know that, we're serious. So we kind of bring those coming attractions in between, because this process is a very long process. But that way, people constantly see we're serious about this.
Now, do we know who the owners are of this house?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel, did that fence go up after, because people have been complaining about this house for years, mostly about because they couldn't see coming out of, what's that, Corrine Street you
Yeah.
come out
That's
of?
That's
They
correct.
couldn't see. I had a lot of people call me to complain about it,
Corrine St. Peter.
even in the last term, whatever, and looked like whoever
Fence
owned
has
it,
been there for a while.
that fence been there for a while.
Yeah, but not as long as the house. but
Not
it's
as
been there
long
for
as
a
the
while.
house.
No.
Yeah.
And that's
The
what I
fence
want to
has only
ask.
been there 4 or 5 years.
Huh?
Okay.
I want to say 4 or 5
That
years.
fence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that fence came up after the house became an issue. Almost like they were saying, don't come in my yard. So I'm trying to ask the question, is that some kind of law where if you put up a fence, you can't go behind their fence.
No,
Fence
we
is
can
open.
No, we can
It's
go.
open now? Okay.
Yeah, but we can go.
It's cut in
And-
the front,
We can go.
and
Yeah.
a tree fell on the gate in the back, and they haven't fixed it or anything.
And the house is open,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I think Mr. Russo.
And inspection is
Yes,
not
sir.
favorable.
Sorry, Mr. Broussard.
Inspection is not
They need to
favorable.
come down, because that's a,
This last week, we had Mr. Jeff and, our professional, Mr. Jimmy. So end up in court. After 4 times, we told them, the same time we tell the niece, come talk to us. Don't find us in court, we did everything we can do. Please ask you to take your houses down. So whoever sees these properties, you better get over here and help us. Because in court, I hope you told them, we talked to them 4 times. Those certain ones you have in there, 4 different times in 3, 4 months. We begged them to do something, so I hope you're presenting that hard,
We did.
you know.
We told that story
All of
yesterday.
the, whoever recognizes these houses, even if you don't, come talk and see what you can do with it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? Yes,
I have
ma'am.
a question.
Yes, ma'am.
As you can see from the picture, you can't see the house
Right.
or the jungle around it. Are we gonna take that jungle down also?
I don't know, are we doing anything about the weeds and?
That's
all
not
that?
weeds, that's some
Well,
trees.
That's trees.
When he gets his excavator in there,
Yeah, I was gonna
there is
say,
a,
when he tears the house down, you're gonna end up with a lot of it having to leave to get the house down. You know,
Right.
get it out of there.
but it's gonna grow back as a jungle.
Correct.
She doesn't
Then,
take
then
care
what do
of
we
it.
do? Junk ordinance after that, or what do we do?
I don't know what we're gonna do.
If it's grass, we cut grass. We don't do trees. I know.
Right.
That's the
But
weird
there is a
part.
tree that's down.
Okay.
There's a pecan, I wanna say it's a pecan tree that fell 3 years ago, and it took out the power lines, but they cut part of it up, but the trunk of the tree is still there. So he's going, when he goes in, that's the first thing he's gonna have to move. So
To get to the house.
to get to the house.
But there's some pretty mature trees on the side of the house
Yeah,
that
there's
hopefully
one
can
growing
come.
up into the sill.
Yeah, maybe,
Wow.
yeah, it's really
That's a good
bad.
question, Ms. Lay, but I'm glad you asked that, because we have a lot of properties now that we've turned down the houses, but now they got a jungle in the city, don't cut trees.
True.
So this is almost the procreation of that problem.
Exactly. We have some properties that are in the middle of town like this, and I just have a problem with it. It seems like we could also do something with that.
With those jungle looking
Yeah,
properties.
with the jungle, you know, just cut it down or, you know, and then we could keep the property up, you know.
There's a lady in Deidre's district on Mercedes Circle that has a lot behind her, and it's same thing. There's no house on it, but it's a jungle. There's nothing I can do about it.
So Freddie,
Mhm.
this is a conversation that came up in our downtown neighborhood association meeting.
Okay.
Remember we talked about possibly using some of that, $450,000 we set aside for cleaning up empty lots and stuff to maybe hire a tree contractor to do some of that work if possible?
We did discuss that.
I mean,
we were, when I originally planned out the 450, it's because of all the tires we have, okay? I
Right.
mean, we blew Joe's budget in 3 months picking up tires.
Right.
So I was more thinking tires, but I do remember we had a good discussion at the Neighborhood Watch that, you know, how far could we go with that money? Well, if we're gonna go on private property, because we can with this ARPA dollars, after we get waivers, after we get everything, what we do on it is still kind of subject to be fleshed out. So I do think that that would be the only time that we might be able to, but I would hire a tree person. We're not
right,
letting
yeah,
Public
no, the
Works
city
do
wouldn't do it,
And it's
yeah.
gotta be dangerous.
And it's, yeah.
It's gotta be dangerous. You know, noxious growth and weeds is what is, the statute calls it, but, you know, if something's ugly, that's not enough. You know, if you've got a tree that's down on a piece of property and it's not causing anybody any problem, but it's just a tree that's down, you know, I
Well,
don't think we do it.
I tend to argue that point, because if a tree is down, that tree's attracting termites.
Yeah.
And that goes
Yeah.
to every house around it.
And just from my perspective, we have some trees that are down, we have brush all around, and it's a safety issue because people are hiding guns in these lots that are overgrown. drugs. And I get reports about that. People are telling me this, and, I mean, I turn them into the police when I hear about it, but if we don't clear this out, then this just provides another opportunity for people to do the wrong thing in neighborhoods where this kind of stuff is going on. So,
Every district has things like this. I think we might be opening up a can of worms, because we have everybody calling, come clean up this block, come clean up that, once we start going on private property. We always told them, you have private property, you gotta cut your own trees. I just think we're gonna be opening up a big can of worms, because I want you in my district to come cut 6
Freddie,
lots.
let's
So-
get this finished.
Yeah, we got enough.
Discuss this in another
Yeah,
time.
I know. I just like to let it go for a little while because I like to hear. So we will have that discussion, and when we get to the 450,000 that we have for ARPA money to do cleanup, again, I thought at first it'd be more commercial spots and that, but there's certainly room to talk about it and, try to figure this out. On the flip side, I know that, Jeff is from the very beginning said we're not in the tree business and that our ordinances don't fit that and the state law doesn't really fit that. And so I had been told from day one, even when I was the pro tem, we're not a tree company. We don't do trees. So that's why this has always been that way. But I'm not saying it's not a problem,
Jeff, what about for adjudicated properties?
We don't own them and we don't want them.
Okay, but nobody really owns them, right?
Right.
Oh, but there's still
Somebody owns
the
them.
liability. It's adjudicated, but the liability is to those people. We don't take them because then we'd have all the liability.
The only
If
thing
we took-
adjudicated means is they not paying the
They're
taxes.
just not paying the
Right,
taxes,
I
but we're
agree,
not
but I
acting
thought
on
at some
them.
point
It's
that they
still their
transferred.
property.
We could, but we don't want to.
We can make them ours.
Yeah, after 5 years, but we don't want to because if we own them, then we're stuck with them forever and we gotta clean them up and we gotta cut the grass and we would rather that the owners step up and handle their business.
But at,
Or that they are sold to somebody else. And we'd go bankrupt if we took 600, we probably had 680 adjudicated property, easy. We would go bankrupt if we took 680 pieces of property and said, now we're gonna own it all and cut the grass. We can't do it.
No.
And we'd have the liability, we'd have to insure all of that.
no, I get why we're not doing it. It's
Yeah,
just,
I'm just saying, it sounds easy that you say, well, just take it, but
No,
you gonna bankrupt yourself.
no, but it's
The
just
good
that
stuff we're
they're-
doing, we won't be able to do.
No, I get that. It's
You know.
just, there are a lot of.
We're about to
in
get
such
back on the demos,
poor
I
shape,
promise.
And they just make the neighborhood
I don't disagree.
horrible.
I don't disagree.
Right, right.
But like I
Maybe
said, I
there's
think
different
that's
solution.
a discussion for
Another
another
day.
day,
Yes.
But I wanna have it.
Yeah, but just to finish up, you have properties that people own that people basically keep up. And then there's a little section that's a jungle where that body was found, on
Uh-huh.
Cherokee
Yes,
Street.
ma'am.
I mean,
I know.
most of the property is clear, they cut it and everything, and then there's the little wooded area, so can we?
It wasn't like that when I was growing up. You could see all the way across. Just over the years, they just haven't kept it up.
We need to think about what we can do to,
Okay, well, like I said, I think that's a discussion for another day.
The problem there is not the growth and the weeds.
Yeah.
It's the dead body.
yeah, it's a dangerous area,
It
you know.
allows it to do
It
that.
Yeah, it allows you to hide things in there.
I can tell you what causes the situation on that.
All right,
side.
look, while we move along,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being ugly, but we getting into the weeds,
Yes.
literally. So, let's go back
Can
to
we
this
put
house.
it on an agenda for another day?
Yeah, we can talk about this another day. I have no problem with that.
Jeff has been with ours.
All right, where were we?
Not today.
We're waiting for a vote.
Need to vote.
What's that?
We just need a vote.
Yeah, okay. If there's no other discussion on this house, please vote your machines. Thank you.
Trust me.
And as always, good discussion. Where we going, 10I? All right, 10I.
Resolution 22-85, declaring that the buildings at address 705 Walton Street, District 5, is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed and Councilman Dustin Swear.
So quick question, Jimmy, are we doing the front and the back house?
Both houses.
Both houses,
They
yes.
both, that one's almost falling
yeah.
down now.
Yeah, it's almost gone.
Yeah, we're doing both houses.
Excellent.
It's all on one property.
Okay. Any other discussion? Then, yes, sir?
The last transfer of this property in the records happened in 1897.
The last what now?
Transfer of this property.
Wow.
This is, we don't know.
Yeah.
I had to go back to marriage records from 1877 to figure out who owned this property of record. I mean, this thing has been in an estate forever. I don't know how many people you got.
But it's not adjudicated.
They should put on the National Trust and we couldn't tear it down. No, that's a joke.
No,
That's a joke. It's not
Care of
true
the
either.
person.
Blackout in the front.
It's
a joke.
It's Sally
That's great.
Placide, who married Pierre Placide in 1877.
God, that's wild, huh?
And they bought it in 1897. He bought it. And it's care of somebody who lives on Weber Street, which is Southport subdivision
Yeah.
here. So somebody is paying
Wow.
the taxes,
That's
but,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are like rodents coming out of that back house and going into people's yards, and I'm getting complaints about them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's no other discussion, please vote your machines.
Interesting.
Thank you. All right, our last one for tonight, 10J. So if you gotta get something out, get it out on this one.
Resolution 22-86, declaring that the buildings at at address 610 West Washington Street in District 5 is in a dilapidated and dangerous condition, and setting date for public hearing on May 17th, 2022.
Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeeDee Johnson-Reed, and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ricky Gonsalas. That one up?
The roof is, there's hardly anything left of that one.
That one's adjudicated.
Okay.
Okay.
When I went to take the pictures, the neighbor asked me about it. They interested in a lot. But
Cool. Any other discussion? Then we'll set it for May 17th. Please vote your machine.
No, none.
Thank you. And that was some good discussions. I'm sure it's going to lead to a lot more discussions. Now we're going to move on to item 11.
Iberia Parish Council vote on resolution authorizing the parish president to execute a purchase and sale agreement by and between Iberia Parish Government, BNSF Railway Company, and other agreements necessary to carry out the intent and purposes of said purchase and sale agreement, providing for the effective date thereof, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. Councilman Broussard.
This was put on by Councilman Broussard.
I was at the meeting and, first of all, they got about a green box, about 8 by 8. And the parish in their paperwork on 11A, if y'all pull it up, said they were gonna put that big old green box in the parking lot of the courthouse. So Mr. Templeton, our train expert, kinda put a derailment in this for a couple of weeks. Oh, he's a train expert, and he's right there. Why in the heck you gonna be putting that box on the parish courthouse, taking up 2 spots? And Giacomo next door, they bought that lot and put it on the other side. So they derailed it to about a couple of weeks from now. They're gonna vote on this thing again, which I think they should have had it done in the right place in the first time. It's been long enough. There's a year they've been working on this. So as the town grows, traffic is expected to increase. The way things are presently, with our railroad crossings needed repair near Iberia Parish Courthouse, there is cause for some citizens to express concerns. Although our railroad safety issue have been in planning and stages for some time, I wish to report that the progress for improving the foundation of the railroad tracks and installation of railroad arms and lights and signals near the Iberia Parish Courthouse is transitioning from the planning to the construction phase, even though we have this little delay. Recently, the Iberia Parish Council has delayed a vote for a few weeks to finalize a decision to relocate the proposed railroad signal and warning control box from the Iberia Parish Courthouse property to the east side of the railroad track on Giacomo property. It is believed that the railroad crossing control box is better suited there. When the work is completed, the railroad tracks will be on an improved foundation, and the safety at railroad crossings for all who live and travel in Yardbury near Yardbury Parish Courthouse. There is community support for improving railroad safety in Yardbury, and it is the leadership and teamwork of our parish President Larry Richard and the parish council and our mayor, Mr. Decourt, and the city council, who are the driving force for improving railroad safety in Yardbury. Finally, we are getting the job done. I've been talking now, I'm surprised, the last 3 weeks, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Shrewsbury has been calling me, giving me reports. I've had to call and call and call, but he's giving me good reports that things are happening, and I got a call today from him. So anything you can do, Mr. Mayor, to follow up on some things. I'm getting tired, yes, like everybody else. 18 years is a long time. Let's finally get our safety if we can and get this done. But we're going to wait a couple of more weeks and see what they do and put it back on the table to vote on what they're going to do. But I was surprised that box is about 8 foot, 6 foot tall. They usually put them little silver boxes. You know, it's not big, but it is a monster box.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your support.
All right. Moving on to councilman's remarks. I'll start on Dustin's side.
I have none tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Yes, ma'am.
So I was going to mention something that actually is related to Marlon, so I'm going to go ahead and let Marlon make the announcement or just talk about it, and I'll go ahead on and pass.
Okay.
Summit.
Punt, kick, and pass.
Yeah.
She punted to you.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say, invite everybody to Neighborhood Watch. That'll be coming up Thursday, April the 21st at 6 o'clock at the Slyman. This will be our second straight month since, COVID closes down, so come on out to Neighborhood Watch. Also, condolences to David Merrill and his family on the loss of his grandson.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So just wanted to reiterate that, enjoy working with each one, every one of y'all every night. And y'all I included a letter in each one of y'all packet, and I'm just wanting to reach out and try to schedule a visit with each one of y'all in y'all districts and ride around, because I ride around town a lot, but I don't see the things you guys see every day. I want to see the pros and cons, what's working for you, what's not working. So when we have these discussions, we can be very informative and make the right decision to best affect each constituents and continue to move this community forward like we're doing. And also just give me a call, let me know what your time schedule is, and I'll try to work it in. We'll work it in and we'll get it done. Also, we do have a really good weekend coming up weather-wise. I think we got artwork on Main Street that should be all the way down Main Street, but very enjoyable with the temperatures and the weather forecast.
Thank you.
Nothing tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Mayor, I want to announce the Teen Summit, SOS Summit, May the 14th in the Western Community Center. Get your kids registered. We have registration forms in the schools. I also have some. And also, I want to just offer my prayers to the Tran family and to the community, for this attempted armed robbery. I got to say, man, I was hurt like it was somebody close to me, but I own a business in the West End, so it could have been me. It could have been other business owners in that community with this random act of violence. And I just want to offer my prayers to that family, and I hope the guy is he's still alive, right? He's still.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so pray that he, pray that he has a special healing, And that's all I have.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to bring awareness to an uptick in stealing we're having in Acadian Acres right now. We have a lot of really shady-looking characters walking through the neighborhood that we're not familiar with. Some might describe them as meth heads. Some might be me. But something is not right, and I'm not sure where they're coming from. So I just want all the neighbors to, look out. Keep your cameras charged, make sure they're recording, look out for one another, and call NIPD. Yep. Even if it's something very small that goes missing, you've got to call NIPD and report it. That way they know that we are having an issue. because these last 2 weeks have been pretty ridiculous with the amount of things that are going missing from people's yards. People are going under the carports in the backyards and just taking whatever is not locked up. So just be on the lookout for those kinds of things and make sure you report it. Thank you.
So just, I forgot one other thing I want to mention when you mentioned the Teen Summit, that I got invited to go to Niche last week and listen to juniors and seniors talk about their entrepreneurial skills and their projects and their future. So spent probably a total of 6-7 hours with students in there, and it was really, really impressive that the local kids, how they wanted to build in this community and their vision of moving forward. A couple of them wanted to be barbers, Marlo, you know, so it was great to hear their vision and their enthusiasm on what's going on in the community and how they want to affect it in the long term. So I was excited about what I heard.
Good. Good stuff. I don't have too many. Let's see. It's Keep Louisiana Beautiful Week, April 18th through the 24th. You can sign up on the website, lovetheboot.org, if you want to volunteer to do something. Our next meeting is May the 3rd, and please participate in our MS4 stormwater survey. That goes toward points for us for taking action with the plan. And Civic Source still has a lot of properties, so if you want to buy, invest here, they've got some deals on their website. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Thank you all.
Go look at it.